It's not.
I was
not-
actually
Get a hold
thinking
of
that.
Brian.
It's not hooting.
It's not hooting at me. Cindy, can you hear us?
It is an owl.
Yes, I can. Thank you.
Thanks for letting us know.
We're in.
Perfect.
But we can't see us?
Oh, she probably just has to hit the thing again because I don't.
Oh, there we go. There's a benefit to that pie.
Oh. Your picture popped up on the screen.
Of course. Smiley. Okay, at 10:55 a.m., a motion was made by Hayden, seconded by Rosberg to open the closed session pursuant to Iowa Code 21.5 subsection 1, subsection C, which allows for a closed session. Motion passed unanimously at 11:31 a.m. A motion was made by Schultz, seconded by Dozark to close the closed session. Motion passed unanimously. A motion was made by Rosberg, seconded by Hayden to approve the following resolution. 2025-35 Central Iowa Juvenile Detention Center Compromise Settlement Agreement. Let's see, voting aye, Schultz, Dozark, Mulbar, Hayden, and Rosberg. Motion passed unanimously. On motion, duly seconded, board adjourned at 11:33 a.m. Agendas for the next meeting posted and available to courthouse on Friday, 4:30 p.m. preceding the next meeting. Oh.
Any corrections or comments on minutes? Hearing none, the minutes will be approved as read. Supervisor reports.
Well, I don't. That's why we haven't too much. Really make a lot of progress out there on J Avenue. I'm sure Ben will report on that. I drove through that this morning. It looks really nice. And then been meeting with Chuck trying to figure out the pay range and stuff for our new hire at the landfill. I think we got that figured out, trying to model what secondary roads new employees will be. I think it's kind of over narrow, that was still 30. Other than that, it's about it.
It seemed like a good parade on Saturday.
Yeah, I was, I think everybody probably was a little shocked when you turned the corner and found you had, what, 3 or 4 more blocks of parade. And when the normal calf show day parade was only like 1 more block long usually. And that looked like the kids towards the end were pretty dire, neat as can be. You
Yeah.
can see any laying on the street
Yeah,
down there.
we ran out of stuff too. Great turnout.
It was a good parade.
Great turnout
It was good.
for small towns, so.
The tractors, just, I got behind one going up just last week and and there's so much traffic, I just had to kind of
I
follow.
had a gentleman tell me, he said it really holds true. He says, the smaller the town, the bigger the parade.
Makes sense.
Community supports it.
Yeah, boy, I thought about that, it's pretty spot on. So.
I was disappointed I didn't win a basket again this year.
Well, I did. I didn't even put my name in on one, so I said, you might want to call the other tile.
Oh, wow. I had my name in there 137 times. But it's okay.
Yeah.
I supported.
That's right. Right.
Jerry had 4 pieces of pie while we were there, so.
You have 4 pieces of pie?
Well, throughout the day,
Oh.
throughout the whole
Good
pie. He likes
I
his
don't know if I have
stuff.
4 pieces of pie this year.
Yeah, I know. There's nothing like a
You're not
homemade
living right
piece of
then.
Jerry
Well,
pie.
right. We'll talk more later, but I did, to help with Terry, we did find the actual residential revitalization resolution.
Are the numbers different?
No, the numbers are the right.
I mean, as far as the dollar amount, they're
The
the same.
3-year, 100% for
5 year.
3 years, and yeah, that's the same.
Yeah.
But Kyle remembered and found out also from
Pass.
the Board of Supervisor historian, that the other historian, sorry, before you, He remembered there was two, and it's like, okay, let's find this. So we searched the old minutes.
But in order to qualify the 100,000 or 150,000.
100,000.
That's the same, residential and commercial are the same dollar.
Yes, and then,
Oh.
well, according to this. Yeah, I don't
Right.
say nothing about 5 years. So,
How about the
I
80,
just thought
60?
there was, what, this, I know the city of
It is
Denison,
just 3 years for 100%.
yeah,
Okay,
but it's also expired.
okay, so we
So
should probably,
Holland is, we'll probably have it on, he's gonna get it on
Okay.
next week's agenda.
okay,
He didn't feel like that other one, the other one.
He was gonna
really-
read it and make
Okay.
sure, but,
so we're not ready to talk.
Cause you
about that
did
one.
renew July 29th. You renewed our urban revitalization area. Wasn't specific. They're both called that revitalization areas. One's a commercial, one's a residential, so.
why
We
do
just,
we have to have two? Why you can't just have?
Mine,
Because they're the
that's why
same.
we're breezing through the minutes, so when you had on the screen, there was an urban revitalization area.
yeah,
And now I'm thinking about it, Steve said something about that last night that dealt with Peterson Manufacturing was in an urban revitalization area that had to do with some state funding. They would get so much money if they build a new building, employed so many
Oh.
people and paid a minimum wage that they would get so much funding from the state. I think he called that an urban revitalization area. So maybe there's three different things we're talking about. Gotcha.
Oh,
so, yeah, we just wanted to be clear that these were properly renewed, so Colin's checking on that.
so we don't know if they are or not. Right?
Correct.
This exact moment, so.
But he did say, he said, not a big deal, he said, we'll just put a clause in here that anything that was applied for and granted between the expiration date and now will be grandfathered in.
Yeah.
Well, I just, feel like with the change, the office down there and, not as much attention put on that, that there may be some,
It's just one of those deals that we're changing of
Yeah.
personnel that we're feeling, seeing some of these glitches, and it's good to, now we all know, but the other thing that I noticed that ag buildings, such as just a machine shed,
Right,
we can't be, I think we might have done a couple here in the last,
we did.
which, if we read in here, there's an out for this. We can, it says something about by February 1st, that, so we can go back and revisit them and or here it says, Board of Supervisors shall forward and will review all approved applications to the appropriate local assessor by February 1st of each year. So we
You're
should
saying
review.
ag buildings don't qualify for either commercial or residential?
No, because the ag buildings already got some of it, they get all the ag rollbacks already.
right.
The board, that's what Steve said, the board at the time felt that they should not be included in the tax abatement.
So the house part, you don't think so either then?
So if you build a
Yeah, the
house,
house part should be abated.
The house part should be abated. I went back down and asked about all of that. And
how do you determine value on
Charlotte
part of the?
Starla didn't know how to
We're
answer.
gonna
that.
probably
But I-
have to wait for Paul to show up to help us
I
through that.
remember Dwayne coming in and talking about one of the houses and he actually goes in and figures out what the square footage of that
Well, and
percentage.
the application describes it. The living quarters is a 40 by 60 for this particular one.
Yep.
And 60 by 70 for the shop portion. So I think that might aid in them assessing it separately.
Because it's a percentage
Yeah, that sure
of
would.
that, and I think that when Vanguard came through, if I remember correctly, when they did find one, that they were assessing just as a building, but they found out there
Well,
was
that's
a house
retirement.
inside of it.
Oh, okay.
And so, I remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So I think that that's kind of the way that goes too. So it's always good to review and look at things that happened before we got here to see what the total intent. of
oh,
it
yeah,
was.
for sure. Yeah.
Yeah,
And the intent
Yeah.
might change. I mean, you all might determine that something needs to change. Maybe a value needs to be increased because of the
Right.
cost of construction
But
has
doesn't-
gone up so much or whatever.
Doesn't take much.
And
to
maybe
get to
not either.
$100,000.
Yeah.
And I guess I read this quick this morning and it did say that ag is harder.
Well,
Not just because that was
Right.
their
But they should
thought
be
process. but-
assessed differently though. but I don't know. No, but it says specifically residential.
Right.
what does it say about residential, just to kind of clarify, because we just had that building of Jim Brown's. Yeah, there we go.
So,
I can email that out to all of you.
So we're gonna-
Have
Who
that.
doesn't know?
I mean, obviously, I got it set in my phone that we're gonna look and renew or update this in January. So I mean, we can actually go through it and really put some different
Okay,
verbiage in it at that time. But we need to get
we
it,
need to renew it.
renew it.
Cause the Shells thing is relatively.
Relative.
Back in 2014,
Years ago, nobody was building them.
Nobody,
2014, that was.
Right, and maybe
Very
they
rare.
need to do like they did on this application, get the separate square footages to help with the assessment part.
There might have been some guys out there that would classify that as when they were in the doghouse.
So did
The man
ag-
cave.
You never
rollback
been
that you talked about, is
That's what the
that
truck's for.
on property tax and that's granted by the state?
Ag rollbacks are, yeah,
And they get a tax credit, or I guess if it's an
tax
exemption,
at 25% of its value,
Something,
right?
I can't
but the state
remember.
instituted that.
The state decides what the rollback is.
so,
Interesting, eh?
It's just,
It always is, right?
Well, there's always, evolution of society creates the need for new measures,
so
something like that.
all residential parcels located within unincorporated boundaries of Crawford County established in the urban revitalization plan.
So that's why we're kind of questioning what we did on the 29th of July. Does that cover this?
Right,
Kind of talks or reference the urban
It
revitalization
does.
plan.
but it's not specific to whether it was the commercial or the residential.
Right,
Yeah, yeah,
but when they say unincorporated
that
boundaries,
means everything outside the city
Right.
limits of,
well,
yeah,
so if somebody's building a new house in Manila, they still get it, even though it's in.
not Manila.
now if they're in the,
They'd have to go to the city of Manila
right,
Yeah,
to get an abatement,
but if the city of Manila doesn't have one, then they
and
don't.
they don't
they
get
don't
it.
get one.
Okay,
Only unincorporated areas.
got it.
That's only that is your jurisdiction.
Exactly.
Okay.
It's good to read these things.
And I'm sure we'll reference this.
There's a lot of reading to happen,
Say
unfortunately.
These things are like a lot.
Yeah, they are a lot.
Craig, you got anything?
You could have spent your last 40
Yes,
years.
just briefly, Carrie and I met with our new custodian yesterday morning, 7 o'clock, here at the courthouse. And got him started. I had to leave for some physical therapy at 7:30, but I'm sure Terry probably stuck around with him for a little bit longer.
Yeah, I did.
And, just kind of showed him around. I mean, he's, unfamiliar with the courthouse, so gave him some direction, and I think we,
Take them upstairs.
Took him
Let it-
upstairs,
right,
headed
we
down
took
the
him-
hall,
Yep.
all the
Public
places.
health.
let him know that this is kind of,
He
and I
ended
think
up
you
in
heard me this
public
morning, but
health
this is
yesterday
Jeff's
afternoon.
baby. I mean, this is
Yeah,
his
own
thing,
it.
and,
You write his name on the wall.
we want him to take over and
I
see
didn't
what he,
show him that yet.
what he can do, what he can't do, to see if it is something moving forward, if
Yeah.
we're gonna need to have an assistant, if we're not, if he thinks he can handle it all himself, or if he really needs a little part-time help or outside contracting. I think we're gonna leave that all up to him and
Yeah,
let him kind of go through the motions and see if he's comfortable getting everything done. I mean, that's kind of where we're at.
thumbs up on,
Is that what you?
yeah, we're getting good vibes off of
Yeah.
this
Seemed
whole
very
thing.
eager.
Very
I mean,
eager, yeah.
As I'm aging and getting more forgetful, you know, Jeff comes up to me and he's like, I introduced myself. He says, I know you. I said, how do you know me? He says, we worked together out at, Yellowstone Park 40 years
In
ago.
85 or in the eighties
And I'm
somewhere.
like, wow. I don't.
You remember
I
working
don't remember that.
Yeah, you remembered working there.
I worked there. I
But-
certainly remember working there.
Maybe he
but-
looks a lot different.
Well, I think we both look alike.
Give me a 5.
I love that. That was
Today at
fun.
1 o'clock, Kyle and I are meeting with the Friends of Yellow Smoke Group and FSA to kind of the county farm and the CRP thing. We're doing that today at 1. And I will just say too, had our final Doge committee, meeting yesterday. The recommendations that we are making will be to the governor on September 29th. And, anytime after the 29th, they'll be, open for public access through a website. Not sure what that website will be yet, but they will be accessible by the public, online. So it was a good experience. We ended up after that, we had a reception at Terrace Hills at the governor mansion. And, it was a nice day. It was a good day.
Nice.
But,
But anxious to see, you know, what,
there's our recommendations between the 3 subgroups, totals just about 150 pages long.
really, really,
Wowzers. Holy cow.
So I was shocked because they said, Craig, read, they called me, last Friday, I think someone had said, hey, read through your section and see if there's anything that you know, jumps out at you that we should have in there. And it was, our section was 34 pages. I was like,
really, good job.
I didn't know we talked that much.
I don't know.
Anyway,
Now you know you did.
it was a neat experience and, it was a lot of time. But time was well worth it. I think we'll have some good recommendations that'll be out there. And then from there, it'll just to be interesting to see what the governor picks as, hey, that's something I want to focus on. What the legislator says, hey, this is something we want to focus on, and what stuff they say we don't want to touch.
It's got a
We don't
long
want to
ways
touch
to
that.
travel.
Cause that's really where it's
I
gonna
appreciate you
need to
doing
go.
this. I really do.
Yeah, I,
Cause it's something important. I think if everybody would take a step back and look at this with an open mind and realize your objective wasn't just take IPERS away or anything, but to evaluate our spending practices as a state and whatever other thing. I think if they really look at that and look at the fact that we hate paying too much in property tax, too much in income tax, and too much in everything else, you guys were all there to do us a service, so nobody should be barking at you. We should be questioning things. Why did you do this? That's fair.
Yeah.
However, I think that you did us all a great service and I appreciate it.
Well, it really hasn't been done across the whole state government since the 70s. I mean, someone said that and that 70s report is still something that legislators and the public can go back and look at to see what they were recommending. Should have we done, now we got, 50 years. Since then was some things that they recommended, something we should have done. And since we're gonna be here, and I was 180 years old, it's gonna be here another 180 years. And so,
I'm shooting for 1,000.
Right.
Okay.
But I'm just saying that certainly Iowa has changed in those 180 years on how they run their state government. And so it has to change again in the next 180 years. And, we, right, and since it hasn't been done in 50 years, it's something that needs to be done so that the public and the people that are running the government can say, hey, it's too many times to just get down the same rat hole of, this is how we've always done things. And so that's how we have to continue to do that. And, it's not that way. So
Great point.
that's it.
Thank you.
Thank you. I did have Region 12 last week. We had both our executive committee meeting and our housing, council of government housing meeting. Pretty much business as normal. Went over our inventory report, local assistance report, transfer report, executive director report, transit report. They are, and it's cut back big time, but there are a few rides coming out of Job Corps. 28.
Or what?
28 rides they did in the month of August for Job Corps. So there's some activity, but
there is.
It's staying.
is that, but there's still,
Got some kids coming back maybe here.
that'd be good. I know they're just kind of
That's the word.
apprehensive about the direction of what was gonna happen.
It's just
I'm glad
such a
you're saying.
shame the way that all came out and just the hair on fire, it just somehow in communication.
What I point out with Craig, we need to cease with our knee-jerk reactions
Oh, that was-
across society and
No.
What I worried about,
evaluate
yeah,
things.
yeah. There were kids there.
Narrative gets wrote before
Yeah,
the facts are even out most of the time, so.
but there were, we don't know if all the kids that were at risk, that were, 2 weeks from getting their diplomas and they're graduating, that got shipped out. Did they get to come back, or are those kids lost, or who's coming back? Is this a whole new group, and that group that was there and so sad that they had to go home? Knee-jerk reaction kind of a
Right, are
deal.
they surviving? What's
Yeah,
going
yeah,
on?
and are they the ones we're bringing back? Have they, because remember they had locked down their ability to do background checks? They couldn't really bring any new kids back in. They were sitting there, and they've lost some of their very valuable employees who knew the system, who had done, and I hate that that all happened. I'm glad it's still there. I'm glad it's still operating, but man, oh man, was there a lapse in there that things were not handled very well.
My question though, was it, because they run like every 5 years contract up.
Yep, yep.
Was this just that their contract was up and they got blown out of proportion and?
Well, that's a good question. I never thought about it.
What they worried about, was that, you get $1 million to run it. And, gosh, if we get all these kids out of here sooner, we won't have to, we'll get to keep that money. Because there was talk about the people that were leaving, if they actually had the money to pay their vacation and their, accrued time, that was a real conversation. Some of those folks that were leaving were told, oh, we don't have the money to, yeah, it was a real scary time.
If it does stay, I just hope they
It's
can get up
unfortunate.
and running like they were, get the hires back and it doesn't
Still
start.
lose some good people because they moved on, and what they're
They
buying
did.
is probably a more stable job.
You know, I
Right, right.
almost think every time that contract comes up, it probably happens.
It does.
Something
It
similar
does.
for
It
sure.
does.
Some
Yeah.
people move on to more stable jobs.
They do.
I mean, my mother-in-law worked out there and she said, I'm not going through this contract. 'Cause
Yep.
You just don't know. If you're gonna start out at the bottom again.
Right.
And they did so much.
New
Could
manager comes in there
eliminate your
and says,
position and you have
We're
to
starting
reapply.
at the
Pay and benefits all change.
yeah.
And they did so much shuffling, they would interview, and then there were times where somebody that you supervised became your boss because they interviewed better or what,
Right.
and then how does that happen? And so then that good supervisor left because of and then the person that they hired didn't work out anyway. They didn't quite get it right. There's gotta be a better way to run those.
Oh, Scott.
I think some of that, like I said, could have been just a narrative getting spread negatively so fast.
So fast. So
When it's
fast.
just part of the normal routine, I don't. But
This was not.
at least there's some activity,
Yeah.
Dave, that
Right.
shows that they're coming back.
Right.
Well, the 28 rides, though, could have been giving people rides home. Not necessarily bringing them back too.
Well, I mean, the ripple effect, you look at not only what it's doing to our community, but I mean, even like Route 12 and the rides they were providing,
Right.
totally dropped off, and it just kind of trickles out.
Yeah,
Definitely.
But,
very.
and there's a Homes for Iowa going up in Schleswig is actually at the state fair.
What?
Homes for
Home for
Iowa home,
What is that?
that's the prison built home.
Oh, okay, all right. We have one here in Dennis down on the see.
Yes.
Where they build them all and then bring it in and put it on a foundation, so the one that is going in Schleswig was showed at state fair.
Oh, so is that possibly the house that's sitting right up next to Adam's shop right now? There's a building and everybody thinks it's something to do with the property next door, but it's just sitting there on Willow Road.
It could be,
Real nice looking gray house, just kind of.
they just bring it in as a whole house,
It's
it's got it
just
right
in
on
there,
foundation.
Does it have a place to go? Do they know?
Do they have a
where?
lot?
Yeah, they have a lot of
Basement?
foundation and everything, yeah.
Well, where would that be?
I thought they said they were working on pouring the foundation to set it on.
I'll be at Schleswig
But
later.
kind of a neat deal, I mean, they gave the prison that does it, the inmates learn a trade.
Yep.
Build a home. Home gets sold to communities at a discounted price. So that it helps spur housing development. We have inmates after they get out and are, employable.
And
Didn't
Region
Wade
12
used
is
to do
involved in that.
Did Wade used to do that?
They used
They
to
did.
build houses.
They did
Build a
one, I
house,
remember
or-
one, it was out on Donna Reed Road.
My mother-in-law bought one at the high school in
You
Otago.
built a house.
Really?
a house.
Yellowstone
Remodel.
Park House.
Well, remember our
Woodville, that house.
tour with
Oh.
Woodbine, they do that
Yeah,
also
yeah,
with their,
Woodbine, that was a good
Cool.
tour.
the good tour, great.
Did build,
Newigs.
Good stuff.
Did Newigs buy a house?
Steve
Yeah.
Open's house.
Oh, okay.
Well, there's one out on Donnery Road that was one of those houses.
Some of our old Victorian houses that are looking a little tired, it'd be neat to see them get that project, because they were beautiful.
They are.
There is a rehab program through Region 12 that cities can reach out to Region 12, and they'll
So
comment.
why did the cities, when it's individually owned? I mean, the cities reach out
Or
for the
homeowner can reach out to the
homeowners?
city and,
Oh, nice.
or
Okay,
at least
I
the
see what
city
you're-
helps
I see what you're
identify which
I
homeowners
see
or
what you're
people of
saying.
interest
Okay.
that want to sign up for a rehab type project.
The one that Dennison did.
Or they'll
What's that shit?
they'll even take on homes, let's say that are abandoned or vacant or want to be sold, take them over to rehab and put them back on.
Dennison's was to fill in a, vacant lot, and so they took on getting it gone, and they sold it after they had it placed, ready to go.
Because the city of Denison
Yeah, the city of
purchased
Denison.
that home that the prisoners
Yep.
Did, and
Yep.
purchased the lot or had
Yep.
the lot, I bought.
They purchased it, yes.
See, the neat thing like with the,
And they sold it, I don't think they made any money, but
Nope.
that's not the objective.
That was
The
not the
objective is just to get on the tax roll.
And, they tried to do low to moderate income, but the price came in above what the
Right.
income ratio could work to, so.
and that's kind of what we aim for at Region 12 is not to make a lot of money, but cover our costs, maybe make a little bit, but then that always rolls right back into that same pot, so that you can do the next project. So you don't run out of funds, you're sort of constantly rolling into another project.
You know, and that's the way you wish that most government agencies, if you want to say, or people that are taking tax dollars from the people, that they're generating some to put that money back in, so we're not always trying to get all of our budget from the taxpayer.
Yeah.
We're generating some of that on. And I mean, just for example, I guess from the Doge standpoint is Iowa is the only state in the union that does not sell title insurance. There's one state out of 50 that does not sell title insurance. That's the state of Iowa, because they have the Iowa Guarantee Title. Or Iowa Title Guarantee, I guess, is what they have, where everybody goes and gets their title. And as a Doge committee, we just sat there and go, because one of the guys on our committee, he built a $200 million ethanol plant in Atlantic. And he's like, they told me I had to get title insurance. So I like contacted and they go, well, we don't have it in the state of Iowa. You can't get it. And he's like, really? Why can't I get it here? So we're like, you ought to be able to get title insurance in the state of Iowa. Let's just say you can get one or the other. Go through Iowa Title Guarantee or get title insurance. And then it comes to find out when you do some research is Iowa Title Guarantee takes absolutely zero tax dollars from the citizens of Iowa. They actually generate income that they put back in towards people that are either low income or having trouble making a down payment on a first time home payment, or even if they're having trouble due to loss of employment of making their home payment, they can go to this organization, and they've contributed since it started, I think $73 million that would have otherwise been dollars from the taxpayers in the state of Iowa. Instead, it was generated through the Iowa Title Guarantee. And we have a more assured product. I mean, from talking, because I ended up calling some attorneys and I said, what do you think? They're, oh, no, we need to keep Iowa Title Guarantee, because in Iowa, most of the things that are sold is farm ground. And the one thing that people want more than anything is to make sure that that title is guaranteed, that I have full ownership of that property, that nothing's gonna jump up from in the past and is gonna hurt me. And with title insurance,
Put that.
you don't have that guarantee, but in Iowa, you do. And so Iowa addresses the problems before it's closed versus sometimes these problems jump up after it's closed. And all stuff that, like I said, I was totally oblivious to the situation or to title insurance. I didn't even know. But one day when they came up on the agenda and I sat there and I read for about 3 hours on the subject and different Google articles, and like I said, calling attorneys, and I'm like, wow, this is a government program that works really, really well.
It's the best kept secret.
But it's a combination of private and government
Yeah.
working together, and that's what you're like, man, how can we duplicate that in other areas so we
Right.
can all work together? Because all government is not bad. But,
Well, back in the day, you know, Freddie Mac didn't want to buy mortgages, you know, from us.
exactly,
because,
exactly.
All you had was an attorney's opinion, and if it wasn't exactly right, there was nobody that was gonna stand behind that mistake.
Well, we went all the way to the Iowa Supreme Court, and then from there went to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court decided not to hear the case, which meant they agreed with the Iowa Supreme Court that, yeah, Iowa does not have to have title insurance.
There you go. You've learned so much, haven't you?
Hey, I didn't mean to jump.
No, no, no.
I'm sorry.
Good conversation.
But I didn't want to get into ties time.
Jean, go ahead.
Once again, I don't have a whole lot. I'll talk really fast because I did have to move it up so you can have some time here. I did have a public board meeting yesterday. It was kind of short because Kim needed to go to another deal. I think things are going very well over there. The report that we get is just very simplified and they can see which organizations are holding their own and which ones, and kind of identified one that it might be the hole in the dam. We'll just keep it, and we're gonna monitor that. And, you know, if it continues to, we talked about it, if we need to charge more services, if we need to readjust, we cannot continue to just be, you know, hole in the dam and we don't address it. So it's very clear in the way we get our new reports that, there's an issue that needs to be addressed, and so we are going to look at that and hopefully get it turned around to where we are more self-sufficient and that we're running a more lean operating machine. So I really appreciate that. People seem to be happier up there. Kim likes it because all of her staff is in that same area rather than, you know, some people are downstairs and she isn't really as involved in the day-to-day, and so she's happy with it. Parking is getting a little bit easier. Change is always hard, and, you know, we felt,
So I got a Verizon email this morning that there was one of the hotspots. It's on the sheriff's department's plan. That it was international charges. Well, come to find out it's Dwayne's hotspot and he brought it to Canada with him. There's $1,000 worth of charges on it.
get out of town.
International charges. So I had called thinking it was fraud, because obviously I didn't know he was in Canada. Well, Roger just heard from him and he's in Canada and has that with him. So
On
I just,
personal,
on personal fishing trip. So I just wanted you guys
Need
to be
cut it now.
aware.
can we shut it off?
I don't know. I'll have to look at that.
Who's there?
Dwayne,
See?
Why does he still
Yeah.
have a
Yeah.
hotspot?
Why
with
does
the
he have one?
counties?
For E911?
for E911.
But
But technically, he's a contract employee, so we don't really have to. I wouldn't think we would have to provide that for him because he's a contract employee, right?
Right, exactly.
And so, yeah, there's $1,000 worth of international charges that now I have to call Verizon back and say, well, it's not, I found out it's not fraud. And
can
Well-
you tell him to stop it until we can figure out what we need to do? Because there could be another $2,000 worth
well,
of charges.
right, and Roger did say he's got it turned off now.
So
But at some point, he's been using it, cause I got the first email on Sunday sometime and it was $250, and then I got one yesterday and it was $1,000.
I need to
Yeah, wonder if
personally
he
pay
just
for
didn't
that.
realize
Yeah.
that.
E911 should not pay for that, even though they're not tax dollars, it's. And I know I'm not in charge of E911, but. Yeah.
It is shut off now. It's not
who's the
gonna be.
chairperson of the E9?
I supposedly it's
Who's the
turned off
chairperson
right
of
now.
E911?
Alright,
I think that the chairperson of the E911 should call and
Okay,
call them.
thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
won't
I
get no
appreciate
service.
that.
I wonder if he even knows he was doing it.
well,
Well, I don't
we
know.
probably don't, but now we do.
Yeah,
Gosh,
Gosh, oh gee, today is a day to find.
that's like interesting.
Yeah.
Who would have thought? I didn't even know that
I
was.
didn't
yeah, I
even,
don't,
we learned.
I didn't know it
That's
was.
what I mean. I wonder if he even knew he was doing it. I didn't know.
Well, I know,
Well,
I'm
and it-
sure it wasn't intentional,
But it could
but
still be fraud even if he's, well, but he's got it in Canada with him.
shouldn't be held to the expense of the.
Yeah,
no,
to be
Consumer,
continued
I
on
think
that,
so
to be
too, but
continued.
I just, like I said, I took it long in case he needed to be contacted up there, but didn't think it was gonna be
What are you
$250
gonna do?
every time he used it.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, I
But he did
wonder
use
what the rate is. That's
He
He
crazy.
did use it.
Well, that's what I'm saying, he used it, but just didn't think it was gonna be.
So he doesn't have his own personal cell phone and one,
This is a hotspot.
Hotspot,
so hotspot is on your cell phone.
yeah, well,
I think it's separate
could be
too,
just one of them pucks that.
because we have those for the elections, a
Yeah.
hotspot.
I
So
just-
you use your computer to get internet access through your phone. That's a
you
hotspot,
can,
right?
yeah.
Or it's just.
Are there other ways?
There's a,
Yeah.
there's a separate little box that you pay
Actual
for,
hotspot.
that's an actual hotspot, so
Okay.
that, you know, it's its own little internet, it's its own
Sorry,
little
I said
number.
that.
And, you know, like if you don't wanna leave your phone at home, and that's used to be the only internet we had at some point in time. Then you don't have to
That's
take your phone, you
expensive.
still have internet.
A little bit.
Canadians are trying to get us to pay their bills
But
on the
here-
tariffs.
Here would be the question that I would ask, even if, employee would say, well, what if they need to call me? For E911, if you're in Canada, what are you gonna do? So the internet doesn't do you any good, you're not gonna run to the fire, so.
That's just it, you're not.
That doesn't make,
911
that doesn't
is
add
not-
up to me. Not fire, but I didn't mean fire, you know,
Yeah.
the emergency, excuse me, we'll call it an emergency.
They are.
But he doesn't
They
have a
are
backup,
behind, that's usually behind the scenes, no, there's no.
no alternate, no.
Oh, I guess I would be alternate, but. So that, I mean, it's all behind the scenes, it's all the computers, the phone lines, that's what E911.
Comm center
The
stuff.
comm center stuff, so I mean, there's stuff you
Well,
could be
cripes, I just
doing.
emailed him yesterday, maybe.
So
I
there's stuff
was
you could
the
do.
problem.
But it's been brought to our attention and
So,
there's no backup.
before we crucify them,
I'm not.
I mean,
No, I
before,
know,
I
I know
should
it
say
wasn't
crucify, but
intentional.
before we jump to too many
No, I know.
conclusions,
Well,
but.
I was gonna say earlier, let's find a fact. before
Yeah,
we
that's why,
start a narrative.
but the other thing is if
Yep.
he's the only person and he's out of town,
Yeah,
somebody should know, hey, I'm unavailable,
what's the plan?
what's the plan?
Maybe that is his plan, to take his hotspot with him so he could
Be available.
be available to address plans,
But not knowing that you had
but not knowing it was gonna cost him $250 every time he logged on, so.
Yeah, I know.
Maybe just a phone call and
I mean, we kinda had that surprise with my
Figure
daughter
that out.
overseas
Yeah,
too. so it's
absolutely.
like,
Yeah.
ooh.
But
a, just thinking about that, you know, my wife's wanting me to plan some trips in the next coming years.
But I'm sure it'll be addressed accordingly, it'll be.
That's
finds out
crazy.
that- Boom.
Yep.
move
But
forward.
anyway,
Just leaving all this
we'll
stuff
get
in the
it
United States.
I wanted to just,
Off the
we
grid.
have another plan
grid.
other than this plan. This just talks about the revitalization, correct?
That talks about residential.
But this only talks about new construction.
Correct.
It doesn't, so we give a tax abatement if somebody's making an addition. And are we reading this too broadly? Because it's very
We gave
specific
it
to
that.
new construction are eligible.
We have
So
a new
you're
construction could be
remodeling.
adding on to your,
Do you call that?
that's new construction.
Do you?
As
Okay,
long as it exceeds 100,000.
okay, all right.
Yeah.
All construction must be added to it.
I mean, they just a new building in general. You could add a room on, it's gonna
The
go.
amount of
Maybe you have to add
people,
something
the
like
action
that.
value added. by the
Yeah,
new
add floor space.
All construction must be added
Add a
during the
garage,
time the
yeah.
area is designated as a revitalization area.
Not just a
And
remodel.
this is actually expired. I don't know. Maybe it opened up a whole new can of worms.
Oh, yeah,
Probably.
I see the difference.
I know what you're saying.
Addition,
Yeah.
remodel,
What?
remodel it.
Oh,
I
my,
think that-
no, my
I see your
knees bother me if I do stuff stupid.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah,
It's like
Yeah.
redoing your kitchen,
Public, I just, the
redoing the
part
kitchen.
about the parking, when we talk about, well, they just need to walk. I watched the nurses and all of the stuff that they carry out with them to, have to go do what they do daily, so I understand where parking down in the public
Oh,
parking
and
is
dwelling.
kind of a problem,
Yeah,
so
never mind.
I'm almost wondering if we don't need a loading area, where
Agriculture
to
stood
get
out.
your, all the stuff that you have to take out with you when you're a traveling nurse, because that is a little cumbersome to have to carry, all of your supplies and
Only
take
one.
some.
gave
You know,
my
though,
Seems to be, okay.
If you did a remodel that was over 100,000, which happens,
Oh,
especially if
yeah,
you did these
doesn't
things.
take much.
Why wouldn't we want to consider that? Because you're going to tax them more.
I know,
I just know in the past we hadn't.
Because it's going to create additional tax rate.
Right.
I just a thought.
I was just
Like,
reading that
Good thought.
as the wording was, you know, and I just didn't know if it was too broad on a remodel, but if it's over 100,000.
I do want, you know, I mean, people might let something go because, well, not only am I gonna spend $100,000 to remodel and put new siding on this house, then I'm gonna get charged more for it on my taxes.
Well, I got
Give
this
you a few breaks.
old farm home that's worth relatively nothing, and I'm gonna put 100,000 in it, put 100,000 on an addition, put another 100,000 on the garage, but I have the same location. And I don't qualify, but if I bulldoze it down and build something new, then I do. You know, that doesn't make any sense.
It does that, but I just
Right.
kind
I
of.
mean, that's just what I was thinking, that you're going, you're
Make
tracking.
notes of all this so we can clear.
I'm all tracking you, but you know, when you read the written word,
Right.
But that's a good point, Ty.
it's probably the intent, so I'm good.
I mean, it would be hard to say, you can't have any, you know, no foundation can be laid before you do it. I mean, you would have, if you would change it, you'd have to change some verbiage as well. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, you don't
I
want
like
people
the
that remodeled 5 years
$100,000
ago coming back.
benchmark. Because then and that's a substantial increase in property tax.
And I think the building permit is the key, so that they know
And
that.
if they do a
know
building
this.
permit,
Right.
so that should be like the base.
Right.
Gotta have that.
Yeah. Yeah, so just a thought. I mean, as we were sitting here talking about it, my mind's rolling that way because we did significant construction.
5 great
That we
lines.
stayed inside the same frame,
Did you get a building permit?
Yeah.
Then you're good. That's why I'm good.
you know, I mean,
Cause you could,
don't know how all that was done now. They took care of most of that with the contractors.
Right. But I mean,
Just paid for
when
it.
when I was in the ag finance business, we are one of our clients, and he had the old farmhouse that was his grandparents. And he built his house like over the top of the old farmhouse. And so
Oh, wow.
it was just the coolest, neatest thing that you ever saw. But, you know, you're like, in that aspect, wow, is it an addition? Is
Is
it
it
construction?
out of,
Something completely-
What exactly is it?
is it off of Booyer Road?
It's not close,
Oh, okay.
but, it's,
Interesting.
it was just, it was a cool thing. And I never saw anybody do that before, but it could be done.
Family expansion.
Ty, do you wanna go after Ben?
What's
You
that?
wanna go after Ben, or do you?
I really only got one little thing to bring up.
Do it, Ben. Go for it. Go for it.
Well, we're kind of meeting about this group supervisors and past elected officials. We're to do Western Valley revitalization. We kind of got together, discussed several things, but one of the things that really alarmed me that was brought up, this is what I really, everything else was just, you know, it was our first meeting, so nothing really to discuss other. We were just all blowing air back and forth to each other. However, I think it was Bo, yeah, it had to have been Bo that brought up Fox. I think he said, I don't remember the exact numbers, but it was like an awful high number, 70-some% of the houses in Ottawa are rental. Really? Yeah.
Who are
Now, I
they
feel like
owned?
saying, don't hold me to that, because I can't remember the numbers, but it was an astronomical number that just shocked me.
Who owns them?
Well, just people that buy them and fix them up, and then the people that couldn't afford to take care of them and pay all the taxes and stuff like that are renting them now. That was in some cases.
I just asked it, I didn't know if there's like some big company out of.
Well, there could be that too, I don't know, you know, because you've got people that have come into areas to buy houses and then rent, or build houses and then rent. You know, I mean, that's that erosion of the American dream, you know. Being a stakeholder, you know, you're invested in the dirt in the Constitution when you own part of it. But if you don't feel like you got an investment, you don't feel like it's benefit. And that just, on the way home, I was thinking about that. I thought, that's a critical aspect of being an American, you know, and it goes along with our eminent domains and things like that, you know, anything where, you know, you're invested in the process. I'm not saying that I haven't had some great drivers over the years, because I have. But my owner operators got a stake in the game. They're invested in it because they got money in the kitty, so to speak. They own that tractor, you know. I mean, so they do a great job because they're hence, you know, they don't have that attitude that, well, I was looking for a job when I found this one, you know, this job is part of yours, you know. So there's a better investment, and that's the way it works on a national level as far as property ownership. You know, people are invested in the entirety of it, you know. They're invested in the community and families of the community, you know, because you aren't transient at that point. A renter is transient. I remember the entire time I was renting until I found the place that I wanted. I always thought, you know what, if I have to move somewhere else, I can. It's easy to pick up. I just gotta pack. Well, Natalie does, and she was really good at it. But you know, you see what I'm saying? That's something, and that's what this group's about, revitalization. That's something that we really
So they
need to
wanna
be thinking
prevent
about.
that, try to stop it? I mean, what can they possibly do?
Well, I just wonder if between interest rates, and property taxes, and we gotta figure that out.
Even maintenance, just,
I mean, I'm not gonna ever discourage somebody from having a business that creates a rental house for a young family or for somebody that's old and don't wanna mow, you know, apartments, whatever the case is. But, you know, to be able to have, I mean, I'm wondering if Ottawa is a norm or a one-off.
Well, it's one of the few things that you can buy a house and make it pencil out right now, especially for a young family.
Yeah. Can
With
you
the
make it
interest
simple?
rates and the cost of housing, I mean, a young family can't afford it.
What are you guys' inputs cost in farming? Houses aren't any different. You got all them input costs. Think about what a water heater costs. Think about what your electric bill is. Think about, you know, and the government has provided, you know, like electric companies, they basically own a territory. In a theory, they're leased a territory, however the heck you wanna call it. If they keep the prices down, it keeps things affordable for people. If they don't, and greed sets in, which inevitably, to me, might be the number ones of the seven mortals, you know, that could be a problem. And I don't know, I'm just wanting to get you guys' minds going in the trajectory that mine was going on the way home, because all of a sudden that hit me, you know, yeah, eminent domains, you know, is a necessary evil for government to do, but it isn't for everybody else. But have we done something to that effect by making it unaffordable out there? And it's hard to control pricing and say you're a capitalist society, okay?
You're right.
But to promote competition, to me, is a government job. It's just like the chairs to promote discussion with us. That's his real, you know, that's your first job. So the government's
you guys make
job.
that easy on me.
You are welcome. But you see what I'm saying? The government's job is to promote that competition and make it, you know, I mean, because we talk about how do we create more housing so that it's affordable housing. You know, I mean, and then obviously jobs, helping draw industry that can create better paying jobs. Like that, anyway. See, I just had that one little thing that could turn into a long deal. So I just wanted to get you guys all thinking about that, because that really on the way home, it was just
Yes,
roaring through my mind. Wow, we might have a problem here.
does this document exclude somebody from being in the rental house business from getting tax abatements?
It does
I don't know.
exclude that?
No, it
Does
doesn't, it don't.
Should
That's what I'm looking
It
at.
should.
They buy it when it's tax abatement and rent it
Well, if you're
out.
build a new house and you're gonna rent it out.
See, but here's one of the things that I was,
For discussion, write down.
Cause I mean,
Right,
that's
so
kind of
if I-
what you're saying.
If I have property off the highway of 59 South and I decide to get.
But here's-
Rezoned into residential and I put up 10 homes.
but here's also one thing that I was thinking about. Now, this was something that kind of ran through my mind coming home from Washington. You know, trying to figure out how to generate and get new business in our area. And then, you know, inevitably, every one of them will bring up, well, do you have enough housing? You know, well,
Yeah.
what about them helping? But then they're gonna need some kind of break. What if you'd say, all right, you're a $1 billion entity with billions, let's just say you got billions in profit. So you got money You don't burn it or you don't have it, and they made it because they know how to manage it. But you say, you build a residential area and we could help them build it in Kenwood, for God's sakes, if we want to. You know, wherever the case, I mean, as far as providing the spot. And they finance basically all the infrastructure on their own, put the houses up. Do you say rent them? Or do a lease to own project, you know, to get these abatements?
Right.
And then, because you might say, until that's sold, because I know like Denison's done that with houses, until it's sold, you don't have to pay taxes on it. That's how you gotta get them developers in, otherwise they're not gonna invest the money
That's right.
if they gotta start paying
I mean,
taxes.
the developer that we met with the city of Denison, what was that, a month ago? I went to that meeting and they've never sold any of their properties.
Yeah. Oh, there you go.
They rent them all,
There you go.
all the time.
And I'm okay with landlords, but do we end up in the feudal system then? Are you tracking me? You know,
So are they taxable? Are
Oh,
they
they're,
being
they're,
taxed?
they're taxable.
they'll be
Oh, okay,
taxed,
they're being
but it can't
taxed.
be all just
Okay.
about money. It's gotta be about
No.
helping with the American dream as well. And investing and having a stake.
Eventually
the
we have a
successful
lot
outcome of
them
America.
there, Just driving the house and the price is higher. If there's no houses to buy, it's their own rental property.
Yeah.
Yeah, make it money.
Now you can dictate, like in Manhattan, $3,000 a month for rent. Boy, you're not building a lot of equity there for you. You see what I mean? You know, now when then people come up for retirement, what are you doing? They have no equity. I mean, you hope that they've been, working with Thrivent or Edward Jones and built themselves a nest egg for the future, but how many do? And if you're paying $3,000 a month for rent, how can you afford to? But you see where I'm going with that.
And if you were making $100,000 a year in New York, 40% is gonna go to taxes, so I take home $60,000, so that's $5,000 a month. So $3,000 a month is going, so I got $2,000 a month left over to do car payments, utilities, food, cell phones, heat.
You don't have any money left to save.
Right, how do you save then to eventually buy your own home?
Don't.
It's impossible.
Yeah.
Go with.
So I mean, that was just on the way home from there. That's what got me thinking about all that. So if you ever wonder what I do when I'm driving.
Right. I would never meet you on the road. I want you to
Wheel is
concentrate on
turning.
driving.
The wheels are turning.
Might get caught in the cogs. Anyway, that was my big point for today. Otherwise, nothing else was too immediate, so I did get my port up.
All right.
That's kind of like an exclamation point on here, okay.
Well, thank
At
you,
least
Pat.
that's the way I.
Ben, you ready?
Yeah, it reminds me of my first home. I bought a house that probably should have been torn down. I think it was slated to. I decided I want to spend the next 15 years of my life fixing it. So.
Labor-
And just as I was laying the last floor,
You
board I was
really
gonna do, I moved.
You really had skin in the game then.
I guess. Somebody's not
Really had, yeah.
That works it.
I sure hope that when you move, the person that bought it didn't turn it down soon.
No, they did. Little bit selective, and I said, it was my grandparents was home, so my grandparents lived there, raised their family, my parents there, and then, spent a lot of time in that house, I hate to actually move, it's that time, so.
So it's scary. Yeah, so.
It's the scary.
There was a third of one utility permit there to the underground fiber installation on, 400th Street, over on the county line there. It's on the west side of the highway there, M64 there. Just south of the E16 intersection. They're just gonna bore from a pedestal, just a few hundred feet north, or 750 feet north to an address to plumb backwards fiber, so. That was spectacular there, but, construction project update, they're still, they're putting down their forms for the decking. They're making a lot of headway. I think next week they plan on bringing in the steel guys to start putting in the reinforcing steel.
Here's a neat point for you. Yesterday, when I was in the OR, getting this poured out, one of the nurses go, "Where did you say you live?" I said, "By Denison." Huh. She says, My husband's working on a project on a bridge over by Vale. I was thinking about that.
I don't know.
I believe that every other
I
day.
make that wife worry, said, we're not doing any pushing.
Boy, there's that deed. That would have been funny to do.
That would have been
That would
funny.
have funny group. That would have been fun to do. But, no, I did. We talked about the bridge then, so go ahead. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. I just thought that was a good point.
Well, that's kind of neat to know.
Small
Go
world.
over there and visit a little bit with them, a good group of guys.
He was an engineer that does something that just comes up periodically. That was kind of cool.
But yeah, they're moving along. They're looking at, like I said, doing the steel work, reinforcing steel first. Hopefully first part next week. They'll see where they're at with the weather here towards the end of this week. But we're gonna do a pre-pour meeting, hopefully on the 23rd, I believe, is their scheduling next Tuesday. So right about the time of the board meeting here, I'm gonna see if they can back that up just a little bit. But so I may have to make it a quick meeting next week. But just gotta discuss how the pour is gonna go. We'll do a three-part meeting, and then of course they'll do a dry run with their paving machine. So check clearances of the steel with their forms and make sure all is gonna go smooth. It's just a quick dry run before the real event. So
How long does concrete have to cure on a bridge, do they usually?
it's not so much how long, it's gotta be a certain compressive strength.
Okay.
And
How do they measure the strength?
we make beams, when they pour in the concrete, we'll make so many beams that, after X number of days, we'll break them, see what the compressive strength is at, and, let them know whether or not they can, get out on it. And I'd have to look to see what those compressive strengths
Right.
are supposed to be, I shouldn't try to wing that off the top of my head, but,
Interesting.
Just on an average, so 2 weeks, 10 days.
right about that, well, I wanna say 5 to 7, but I better.
I'm guessing that concrete is quite a bit different.
Yeah.
We met today, here we had the school board.
Right, and
Right.
I think we're meeting,
Yeah, that's
Finer.
what's today? I
Finer
think we're
ones.
meeting next week, cause it's claims,
Need to be bigger.
the last day,
30th no meeting.
right?
No, I wouldn't say it. A little bit aggregate side, the cement, the content in it, it all plays a part.
Seems like you want less airspace.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
But yeah, hopefully, and they're shooting for the 26th to actually do the pour. Again, that's all weather pending a little bit there, but that's kind of what their schedule is, they're shooting for, so. Moving along there. And, like I said, good group of guys, so working over there, they got a lot done last week, forming and, hopefully we keep things moving up. I don't have it on here, but, last time I heard, it's still, they're talking end of the month here for the Highway 30, bridge, I can say that, but.
Since you mentioned it,
Yeah, a little bit of
since you mentioned it, Ben, I mean, Saturday I went over to Cogdale's, got some creek feed, and I just drove up there and I picked up and walked to the bridge. And there was a guy running a bulldozer, just pushing some dirt around. What's left to be done there?
I believe they have some guardrail work to do. I'm not
So
certain.
that could be, on the east and west side of the bridge, guardrail work before the bridge, after the bridge, depending on which direction you're going. But yeah, right, there is no guardrail there, so that would be, I didn't think about that.
Yeah.
But I just saw it and it was like, man, it's,
Done.
Done to that, almost done.
Should have just
Put the
drove
paint
on.
on the line or paint the line, get the heck out of the
You
way.
don't wanna be that guy.
Yeah.
right, the lines are not painted, certainly the lines are not painted, the lines need to be
Finish work.
So did they?
Right, and I don't know how much they do on the approaches.
They really don't give me,
Seems.
I'll call them,
Okay.
and guys, where we at,
Okay.
kind of, what's the lots, and, like I said, it's all tentative, but, I do believe the end of the month, they're talking being done by the end of the month.
I hope so.
Wow, that'll be
It's
awesome.
been a long, seems like a long,
It does.
it seems like there's.
It's great. We would've-
I know I've said this
They're
a
still
number of
very
times, but I reiterate, I don't control their schedule.
I know,
so
I know,
it's,
I
Yeah.
get it 100%.
I hesitate to give time frames, but, That's what I.
Not so accelerated.
We're going with it. Sounds good.
That's a kind of an oxymoron, isn't it?
Scale.
Our grade crew, they're working on J Avenue, they'll be out there for another couple weeks, to at least at the end of the month, and then I believe there's plan on going around the corner on that dirt section of roadway, removing a little bit of bad area on. Oh, what is that, 170th Street, just around the bend from, Doyle's there, to eliminate some higher banks, a bad area on that road, just while we're there, so. And then after that, I don't think we're looking at tearing open another gravel road in the fall here. This time of the year, we really don't wanna open up another gravel, you know, it doesn't get time to get that road healed up. We'll find some dirt roads to shape up, and we got a couple regrades of it, dirt road regrades that we can go to.
Talk about regrade, did it work to throw some fines on, what we talked about being south there by Buck Road?
Did it work?
Yeah, we were talking about how it's so mellow.
I think he's been working on bringing, blading that in a little bit and trying to get it.
They talked
shaped
about
up
bringing
that
some
way.
gravel
Just a little-
fines, just to kind of pack in.
I think they were gonna bring some more gravel on that. I'll have to follow up and see if they did bring some gravel onto that, and try and straighten that up, but, more gets driven on this fall, the better it's gonna be. It's, yeah, I think it does just needs to see a little bit of traffic too, just to tie everything together and pack it in, so. I'll follow up on, I'm not sure how much they put more on as far as that goes, but, every time it gets bladed, every time it gets driven on, it'll actually get a little better, so. And, like I said, it's gonna be the same over here on J Avenue, we'll roll the heck out of it, but, you know, that gravel, when we first put it on, it's gonna be a little bit loose, and it's just gonna have to get driven on and get worked in and a little bit of moisture on it to really find its settled in and find its place, so. But, we'll keep an eye on it.
While you're talking about that thing, last night I had a citizen bring up, 110th south of 141. South.
Okay.
Yeah, so I want to check on that. If I can make it pretty rough, ain't seen a maintainer. Thanks, sorry to interrupt. I just.
Not at all, we,
Yeah.
That wheel
said we
Yeah.
take every call about it, so. No, we'll get some calls, yeah, there are some whiteboards out there, we'll chase that.
And I know some of the roads that are busier are probably harder to keep up with. Cause I went and redrove the one from the school road in Dow City and it's already kind of bumpy again, so it is what it is. Gravel road.
That's one that gets hit often, it's just gonna get bad fast, and our plant operator knows that on that road, it's quite often, but, we'll try to keep up on them. I know this time of year, a lot of guys are.
Our farmers are out going like heck now and it's just gonna get worse.
It is, some of our guys that help, some farmers, I say, as long as the roads are looking good, fine with taking off some, little bit of time, they, helping some local farmers, that some of our guys do, so. But roads, gotta be looking good, so, but it's just something I always reiterate with them. But yeah, we'll try and keep up.
Sorry to interrupt, I just wouldn't want to forget.
That's fine. Let's see. Bridge crew, they're finishing up on 200th Street this week. Our delivery for the 108-inch pipe for over on High Avenue over there. They're gonna try to deliver that next week. It's gonna work out real perfect with them finishing up down there. They're gonna move the equipment up there, unload the trucks right on site as they come in, get started on that. And hopefully first part of October, we're driving across some big structure there. I know I got a little bit into harvest season here. I was hoping to avoid that, but fabrication time on these pipe is what it is. So we're glad to get it when we did. But get that road, those pipe in and get that road opened up. It's been closed for some time now. So that's gonna work out well. Can't wait to get it on that one. Roadside crew, they're mowing and seeding, getting behind our grader guys, ditching guys, so, no change there, but, and, I have annual report that we had mentioned last couple of weeks.
Got her done, huh?
Did. So it's, after having done it, it won't be as daunting to me in the next year.
There you go.
So it's good. I struggled through it the first time and truly understand it, because like I said, it's this all ties into what I'll be doing in the spring with programming and budgeting. This is just basically a snapshot of what we did last year, fiscal year 2025. Sheet 2 there is basically a summary of, receipts, income, what we started off with a balance and what we came in, and then moving on down to administrative, engineering costs, construction, roadway maintenance. It's a summary of the different categories for the submit to the DOT there of our expenditures. And there are other sheets out where it's about our desk, our equipment, where our standings are equipment or equipment values, but if you have any questions about this, welcome. Not gonna probably go through line item by line item, but sheet 2 is the summary. And then it gets broken down into the.
So Ben, is there anything in this report that you have to do that's different than the budget that you do with the county? I mean, is there things here that you're like, oh, I wonder what that number is, because I don't have that with the county budget. I don't need to provide that for the county budget. Or is everything you just kind of transfer from here to there?
It pretty well matches, the DOT budget pretty well matches the county budget. The DOT budget, you got the 4 groups, the 70X, the 71X, the 72X. In those categories for the DOT budget, I can't exceed my budget by any more than, I believe, 10% on any one of those areas, where county budget, as long as we're spending what my authority is, total, but I'm fine there. But the DOT, they don't want you exceeding any of these categories, those 4 categories by any more than 10%. So I do have to be mindful of that with my budget. But aside from that, it pretty well matches our.
Sometimes I guess, once again, you just start to think about this stuff is like, why doesn't DOT just allow you to submit your county budget to the DOT? That's good. Why do they have to have their own process?
I haven't done much paperwork, so
Paperwork.
I'll probably know a little bit more when I do the budget and the programming. Like I said, I haven't gone through that as much as this was a mystery to me this year, and now I pretty well understand it.
Since I've been on the board, I remember Paul talking about this every single year, but it never really hit home until they,
Do you think it's DOT's way of identifying where their money's going to, and that it's not lump summed with the county, so there's transparency of how the DOT money is being spent differently than the state?
could be. I guess I didn't think about that.
I don't know if that's the case or not.
Sometimes from a government efficiency standpoint, you kind of wonder, is that really most efficient use of our county engineer's time to go through all of his time and expense and fill out this budget when he could just give the DOT, here's our budget I submit to you. Whoops. I submit to the Board of Supervisors,
Right.
and that's good enough. Every engineer just
We
submits.
even code our budget. There are DOT codes used
So it would
on
be identified.
Ben's line items that identify, that probably helped you a little bit in your process. I imagine, I don't know that, but
I'm
I
sure.
just know that. I know that we do use coding for the DOT in our budget.
Okay.
So then it would be identified in the budget.
Yeah.
Just as an example
Would
for,
be
when
easier to
you
run those
do
reports.
roadway
separately.
maintenance, bridges and culverts, and you got 323,000. When your guys are doing their work, you have your bridge crew and your road crew. They kind of specify if they're working on a bridge or a culvert for you when they're timekeeping, and so is our timekeeping system adequate, that those numbers are easy to find?
So receipts come in from we code, whether or not it's construction program or construction, or
Okay.
whether or not it's a maintenance work on a bridge or whatnot. we keep track of that, and that way it's in the appropriate categories, program, bridges that are programmed for, the fiscal year, that's, those need to be in construction.
Okay, okay.
Uh, But where we may do some maintenance work, that doesn't need to be programmed.
Okay. Just so detailed, in, roads and culverts, roads, snow.
Every single receipt that comes through, that comes across Kathy, this where Kathy really shines. She
Okay,
keeps track of
okay,
all that,
okay.
but, she puts it in the correct, with the correct DOT codes, with all the receipts. She's instrumental in, when I'm running this report, she's able to run the Tyler reports that I need. It all goes in the year.
Okay, okay.
It's a,
So it's
but
been a
yes,
joint
it's kept
effort.
track of all year long, how it's coded into the DOT, so we can, get this report.
Okay,
Correct.
lots of numbers.
What's the difference between 71X and 72X?
New equipment, bridges.
Road maintenance.
Maintenance, the next picture, I believe it's number two, the more your equipment costs, your, your shop,
Okay,
tools.
yeah, yeah, okay.
And
Now
again,
I see that.
Can look back on the sheets there.
So one thing that jumps out at me is real estate and buildings. I would think that we would have more than $111,000 for
New purchases, I'm guessing.
just purchases?
New cost or repairs and ordered with that.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not assets. That's the purchase of
Purchase
Just
of or-
this
an
year,
expenditure
Just
this
this
year
year.
or that year, yeah.
I was thinking that they were
45.
wondering how much, okay.
Not entirely,
Not
yeah,
assets,
no,
like, I was
no.
like, man, one building for it.
I know,
More than that, right.
exactly.
Just jumps out at me, and I have to think about
That's seen
it.
it do it.
Yeah.
It's not our total asset,
I'd say you did a good job.
It's more an income statement than a balance sheet.
Yeah,
yeah.
got
Yeah.
it, got it, got
And
it.
again, a lot of the, I'd have to look back at
Yeah.
every line category to see what.
Expense and revenue.
Good job.
Taking totals, thinking.
Good job.
Water bill.
I just wondered if our system was working properly, if there was something we need to do to make that easier, but it sounds like it's all.
I believe in it.
All right.
No, that looks good, Dan.
Yeah, it looks real good. Good job. First one out.
For us.
You got it done on time, so.
Really? Yeah, last Friday.
It's okay.
Like I said, the next year, it should go a lot smoother now that I'm familiar with it a little bit more. And,
Yeah,
like I said, I'll have the programming budget, coming up, this spring, that ties in closer with this, so it's a, it should go a lot smoother.
sounds good.
But yeah, go through it, take a look, have any questions, like I said, we can delve deeper into any
Yeah.
defined detail of the if you want it, so.
And then, and when we list all the equipment on here and the status, that's just the status for that year. If it was traded, it was traded last year. Not that, I mean, is this equipment list our current equipment list or equipment list since the beginning of time, so to speak? Like we either have it on file.
Yeah, it should be the current equipment.
Current equipment.
They
We have
have,
a lot of equipment. Don't
Yeah.
we?
yeah.
We got, I mean, this is 3 full pages
Got a lot of miles of road.
of equipment inventory. We do, yeah, I know we do. I was just curious, it didn't have a total of what all of our equipment is valued at, I guess, for the county. That's not listed on here.
Not asking.
But man, that's gotta be
Yeah, I suppose it does,
tens of millions of dollars in our equipment total.
and that I could probably get, a total on what the, estimated value of our equipment is,
Well, here's your, road and street equipment inventory.
Right. Yeah,
But
you're
this
right,
should
Ty,
be a
to maintain, whatever, what is it? Is it 1,200 miles of gravel roads in the county, or is it 900?
I believe it's around 880
880?
miles of gravel.
1,200 total,
1,200.
total with
Secondary,
Secondary.
Yeah,
or level Bs, A,
right.
and don't count the pavement stuff, there it
I believe it does.
Oh, it does.
1,200 diesel, total for pavement and gravel.
Yeah.
is. Seems to me that's right.
I'm just gonna sell unit 51. If you can get 324,000 out of it, you sell that thing.
51.
Degrade them.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Tell us goodbye, have a
Yeah,
nice
you get
day.
$100,000.
Okay.
You get it.
So at the end of the day, this percentage,
I've heard that before.
do you have to know a number that they're kind of looking for on this 144.49 percentage, local effort percentage? Is that, they look for a big number or a little number? Then I'll be done.
I guess I'm not 100% certain
Okay,
what
all right.
number they're looking for.
You always want to know, when you get done with the report, if your percentage that you got is kind of what they're looking for, you know, which would be like 10%, we're 144.
That you'll find out in future funding.
Yeah. Is that a good
I
percentage?
foolishly probably 10-15% is what I don't believe they're looking
Is it
for.
similar to the percentages that Paul had last year?
I believe we're usually way over.
Okay.
For,
All right, that was my last question.
Interesting.
It
Ben?
is.
Thanks, Ben.
And again, I'll have better understanding of it next year. A little bit.
I didn't want to catch you off guard, I just.
All I know is that we.
It's done.
Yeah.
It's done.
That's the same job what we did last year and it's done, so.
Well, if you hear
Done,
back,
and it's gotta sit there.
Green check marks are good. But, aside from that, this time of year, we're going to assessing, our gravel needs, our, what we're gonna do for projects for next year, what we're gonna need for steel, cords, beams, we're gonna be spending a lot of time here, upcoming, weeks here, just getting a hand on what we need to get here for material for the next year projects, so, particularly gravel, getting the gravel.
So are you doing that, or do you have Tim do a lot of that, or?
Tim, I have him assessing a lot of the equipment, this, kind of working with Sean. What do we need? I know we're kind of still working off a little bit of Paul's, equipment schedule, what he foresaw, you know, is needing in the upcoming years. I know we're possibly talking about, the possibility of replacing, an excavator. It's kind of what was in Paul's plan. Foreman pickups, possibly, being looked at for next year and, but that's a little bit that I have, Tim, working with, the foreman and what's our equipment needs. Yeah, so, gravel, really from year to year, we use about the same, about 120,000, right there in that ballpark is what we're looking at for needing for road gravel and, determining what directions it's coming from, gotcha, and, not with the.
Talking about equipment. And replacing. Obviously, we want to see something about the efficiency. Do you still track? I mean, Jim was, you still track the fuel advantage of that diesel over electric cat versus the other? Or Caterpillar or John Deere, or anybody else coming up with other vehicles, is that, especially a motor grader that could have 50% fuel savings like Jim told us that the cat was getting. I mean, that's a lot of dang money.
We are able at the end of the year, electronic report on fuel usages and our equipment. That's where in this iWorks program, everybody out there should be entering in their fuel usages.
And they're like on the cat, you'd still want the hour use, because then that'd tell you how one's doing better than the other. And then you could track to see if it loses that efficiency or what. See what I'm saying?
Yep. And we do have that capability, like I said, be able to sort out doses, you know, fuel efficient and see what the fuel usage is per hour, those doses. And, sometimes, so yes,
Yeah.
we do it at the end of the year, try to provide that information with us. And that's where again with this, we talked last week about a little bit about fleet management program. Like to see if that could be tied in with something that does track automatically the fuel usages in these. I know there's deals out there, you plug it right into the computer, so I believe this program was straight through CAD for any of the CAD equipment that I believe Tim was actually gonna look into something to that effect. In addition to the tracking, you know, being able to track where the marker is in our trucks, but I'd like to take another look at Ottomans. I did talked to Shelby, I believe, they're running a program. I don't know if they're 100% sold on the one that they've got. It seemed to lose service, and doesn't capture everything from all the time. I need to be out there saying, yeah, we believe that road, but didn't capture it this week or these days or whatnot. Sounds like they have some issues. It's working for them, but, they say it does have some issues, that, you know, I've got perhaps, you know, a different program.
Yeah. Keep looking to find one that's nice and.
March, let's continue to look at that. Audubon County, like I said, we were over there, we took a look at it, I wanna explore that program a little bit. That sounds to me as close as what a person might find, what I'd be interested in, so. But I want to more about how they like it and how they use it, how often they really track their donors or utilize the program to say to justify the cost of a subscription for, you know, every year, so. But,
Yeah.
yeah.
All right, good job.
Thanks, Ben.
And then, yeah. So we're gonna work on that, get some materials, figured out for next year.
Did you get anywhere on Kent's Road with surveying?
Okay, so you got a survey, this week, Brent, Sean. I'll reiterate with them that I would like them to go down together, see. Brett show Sean about how high we would need to go. Kind of get a general sense of what we're talking for costs, you know, how much, how long we'll be spending down there.
And then after that, then you'll bring it up to us.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Sounds
Get
good.
somebody together, so.
Sounds good.
Thanks, Ben.
Thank you.
You get a copy of the audit. I was, 21. Rob did it.
I don't know.
When he started talking about that audit, I thought about that.
Okay.
I'll get you a copy of it if they don't. I don't see you listed. I don't see
Please
any.
tell me here, you know, you're free to come up for the tax
She
abatement.
left me her stuff.
Oh, she did leave out. Never
Sorry,
mind,
Dave.
Terry said she left it.
Yeah, she brought it up to me this morning.
No, you're fine. I didn't realize you left it with her and I called you.
Sorry about that.
So, yep, never mind. Thank you.
But I think she's down there all by herself.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
she
can
did.
text me and put us in good. 29.
All right, so did they find the, building permit for this?
They did find the
They
building
did find
permit.
it,
It was
okay.
signed August 19th of 24.
Okay. All right. And definitely over $100,000. Lovely, lovely addition to our.
Yep, and I think the question I had was the application for the
For the abatement,
abatement. But after finding this and reading it, all it states is you have to have your building permit filed before
Right.
construction starts, which they did.
they did.
So
Because
they
they-
met the requirement.
Right,
Yeah.
and what that does is triggers the assessor then to go out and look at it and watch the progress and,
Yeah.
you know, so I think that I would make a motion to approve the,
But
Hold on a minute.
one more.
The only other calculation is that I think we abate the
House.
The
That's the residential.
living quarters.
residential part of it.
Yeah.
not
Oh,
the whole
yes.
part of it.
yes, and is that specified in the building permit that,
It gives the dimensions of the living quarters and of the shop separately. So I'm assuming that's to aid the assessor's office in
So the-
assessing that properly.
if
But
I
I
remember
don't know
correctly
that.
with Dwayne, the living quarters, and I don't know what the percentage is, had to be a certain percentage, you know. Does that meet the qualification?
I have no
Dwayne
idea.
doing
Oh,
that
sure
that
it
one
will.
time?
I have no idea.
The whole
Yeah,
house,
it is.
the whole project is $750,000, I think, so I mean, if you do a square footage, I think you'd still could exceed the 100,000.
Yeah, oh, I'm sure you
So-
would.
I think would be
On the
fine,
house.
But I
and the
think,
house is gonna take a bigger share of that
but I
portion
think,
anyway.
well,
Right.
part of it was
It'll be
that
valued higher than the shop
total,
would be.
when I
anyway.
Total
remember when
square
Dwayne
footage?
started doing it.
The square footage or what
Right,
you're talking about?
square footage, you know, you couldn't have, the shop be most of, it had to fit into it. Am I thinking of it wrong? I remember Dwayne making it very clear, it was about the percentage. Remember that?
The square footage or the value, but I don't,
So how much of the total value are we abating?
well, that I don't.
That I don't know. I
That's-
don't know the difference in the shop value compared to the living quarter value. So the total square footage, so living quarter is a 40 by 60.
Right.
So yeah, 2,400. The shop is 60 by 70, 4,200. Right? Yeah.
Just sort of slow me down on my motion, we'd have to make sure the total value of the shop is what, 750,000? How much
The
of that?
total estimated cost is 750,000 of the entire
Okay,
building, but we don't know. I don't do assessments.
I know.
So I don't know
That's the whole thing.
the value
How
of
you
the,
Put a number in your motion, because you're not an assessor, you don't know. what
I
the
know
value
I'm
is.
not an
Right.
assessor, but I want to make sure that I'm not abating the whole, 750,000.
can you just say that
We
it's the
don't
living
allow it
quarters?
for the agricultural, so it'd just be for the residential portion of that, for the residential.
And then it
portion
still
of
has to
that.
be over 100,000 on
Yeah,
residential.
which-
And it should be, yeah,
You would-
definitely should be.
That somebody check my math, you took the 76.
Right, but going from the square footage side, it's gonna be more expensive to do the residential square footage than it is to do the agricultural square footage. So you just can't divide it up and go.
No.
6,600.
Well, there's a reason you float me down on my motion, so I want to make sure I'm doing it right.
I don't see why you can't just approve the abatement for the residential portion of the.
Whatever square foot,
Whatever it is.
That's what I'm asking.
You
how
just
do I
did
do
it.
the same?
I don't know.
If you just took the 750 divided by the 6,600 to kind of
Oh.
equal square footage cost, and then took it times the 2,400 for the house part, you're at 272,000.
Yeah.
If you're doing,
Pretty
so we're
basic.
exceeding the 100,000 just
Okay.
on a blank. It costs the same to build each part of that, which the house is gonna
Probably
be.
not true, but yeah.
Can I ask one
So
more
we're
question?
safe to be saying, in my eyes, that we abate the residential part of this house.
It's over the 100,000.
Should be.
So we're assuming that the assessor will go into that house now that it's done and check all of that, and that's where that valuation will come from?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it looks
However,
like,
they've done houses in the past, I would.
Well, we have a whole new crew, and so we just want to.
yeah, there's a document in here that says as of 1/1 of 25, which was what, 4 months after they started. And that they stayed that 40% completion. And it describes all finished work inside, outside steel. Something. Quilted. I don't know what the word is. And then most finished work. That's what's, is left to be completed.
I suppose that was something I needed to know for tax.
Right,
purposes.
right.
To know how to assess.
Right,
Yeah.
right, for the next.
Are you currently residing in this dwelling? And it says no. So as of 1/1 of 25, so someone did do,
Okay, all right, just,
at least question the, the completion of that, and I'm sure that's just part of their.
Got
It
process.
should be fine just to abate the residential portion of this house.
that's my motion. I'll make a motion that we abate just the residential portion of the requested tax rate to be determined by our assessment. We good?
I'll second that.
Sure. Motion and a second. Any further discussion?
Hey, we need to make it some sort of note or something on there, just that.
Well, I noted in the motion, tax abatement of the residential portion of that.
maybe
Do you
put a
want it?
sticky note
I can
on
put a sticky note on
that
there.
part. That's what
Can we put as
our
determined
new
by our
assessor or
assessor?
whatever.
Yeah.
Well, that's who
as
will
determined.
determine
Yeah,
it,
yeah, but that's just,
because that's their job,
well,
but I
Just
won't
through
have
this
to run it
transition.
through. I know, no, I know
This
that.
transition period, we try to be as
Got it.
with Paul, maybe he'll come back and say, "Ooh,"
I know.
but,
Yeah,
so,
that way we got it done by February.
yeah.
Okay, tracking.
Okay, no further discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Canvas School Board Special Election.
Sign the bottom of that maybe.
How much does a special election like this cost you, Terry?
I don't know that off the top of my head yet, but we'll know that here shortly. I think we are close to having all the bills. So they pay for ballots, they pay for programming of the machines, they pay for any rental cost we have of the precinct, which we only had one. What else? PEO expenses. So I would say it's probably anywhere from $3,000 to $4,000.
Three to four.
Thousand.
Oh,
So I was just looking at our ROI for 34 voters. We spent that kind of money. How do we get better participation?
They will pay that, the school.
I know, I get
Oh,
that.
Gotcha.
I'm just
Oh,
talking about overall, for an overall taxpayer,
Got
you
it.
know, what we're spending there. to
Well, they
get
could have had that
34.
election during the regular city school election. That would have avoided the extra cost,
That's,
but they didn't.
and you'd probably had a
Before
better
we get
turnout.
into that, I don't know, Miss Collin.
34 people
I don't know.
decided.
Colin, are you here for John
I wonder
Thomas?
who even did.
Boys, we could quick.
I don't know
I mean,
what, I don't
you
know.
gotta do something.
I don't wanna hold you up if we're gonna be
Let's
doing a
just go on.
canvas.
You don't want to sit through our canvas, do you?
I can always just come back, but,
Or we can just.
Well, you're here right now. Let's,
okay.
it's not a
Up to
time.
You guys.
Let's jump up to John Thomas Investigation 9, boys. That way, you're here already.
Yep.
So we have that amount as 2,500, that's our half.
Other half's already been paid from the conference board.
That's
Bills by flat.
That's what we agreed to when we took on this.
Yep.
So I make a motion to approve that invoice.
Second. I
Motion.
thought we really got a good job.
It was
I think
thorough.
it was efficient use of money, yes.
I mean,
Who's second?
Steve, very
Aye.
detailed.
I did.
Thanks.
Yeah.
And we got to read,
Sure.
Colin, thank you for sending out the final draft.
Yep.
We all got that as well, so.
So is someone downstairs gonna process the half from the conference board? Who is doing those claims?
It's already been,
Already
John
did.
already has it
Good job.
John already has the check?
from the conference board.
He does.
I think so.
That would have still had to go on claims.
Would have gotten that. You
He
just
billed
proved
me.
it.
That still would go through Terry for.
Didn't you just approve it last
assessor's
week?
office claims, wouldn't it?
At our
Or,
conference
I
board
don't know
meeting a
when.
couple weeks ago.
Okay, I don't know if it went. I guess I don't know. I have to look.
Yeah, it would have
Maybe
Michelle
they'll
would
check on
stayed
that.
there.
No, they don't have their own checkbook.
They do not pay their own bills.
Just
The auditor's office pays. their
Yeah, would have had to
bills,
go through our last claims
What
report.
if, and I have to look at that. I don't remember.
He indicates he received the check.
Okay,
Hey, you did.
Hey, you did.
Yeah,
He sent me a picture of it.
He
got
sent
it.
you a picture of
I don't
it?
remember
Yeah.
seeing on that
Did
last.
Terry sign it?
What's that?
Yeah.
You see them. Oh,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't remember.
I don't remember it either, but yeah,
I
would
know, I
have had
don't
gone through
remember
our
it.
claims report. Okay, so we know they're paid. That side.
Perfect.
Darn it.
We will process it next week then.
Any further discussion? We do a motion in a second. Table.
All question?
All in favor, say aye.
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 Chair votes aye.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Colin.
Thanks, Colin. Austin saw it.
Sorry, Terry, just thought he was here.
No, it's okay. No, that's no big deal. This canvas won't take much more
So, yeah.
than that.
Yeah. You had
I know it'd be
a whole county
That's good.
special election, it
Love
would
a
be
presidential
considerably
election.
more.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Just,
because the programming would be more, would be a lot more voters involved,
I was
use all the
listening to Sac
precincts.
County
Yeah, no,
supervisors talking about their need for their sheriff. They're talking about special election costing upwards to 30,000+,
ouch.
which would make sense if you're talking 3,000 to 4,000 for, that's just
I just
SRK.
thought 34 people voted.
Yeah, so probably a little less than $100 a vote. And like I said, Wouldn't have had to been a special election. It could have been part of
Well,
the
I
regular city
noticed right
school
there.
election, so.
Which is in November.
Yep,
And then there wouldn't have been
Facebook
any.
post about it and we
right,
did,
we
we
do
shared it to the
I think
Facebook
they're
page,
three,
I
I
mean.
think they're.
Yeah.
printed in the paper that primarily, they get, the Mapleton Press. Will you canvass with Kyle?
Yeah.
Don't make him do it alone.
Yeah.
There were no absentee ballots.
No absentee.
Yeah.
Let's-
Your election day.
No, none of.
Election day, yes, 33, no, 1.
Correct.
Look at you two making stuff happen.
You are correct.
Okay, looks like the public measures passed. 33.
Correct.
1 against.
The what, yeah,
So looks like they get a. Figure it out for the
God, Cal, you're
so
getting
what was
good.
it, what was it actually exactly for, I guess?
I need the money for new furniture, but I get,
Okay.
For new furnace.
yeah,
That's what I heard.
that's probably why they're having a special election, maybe could wait until November. Be my guess.
Sure.
Don't let the kiddos get.
Yeah, you.
Didn't want to have the furnace getting put into the general authority for
Bananas.
Added $3,000 to $4,000 to their furnace cost. To get it. Why?
Cause to be affixed the Great Seal of Crawford County.
Oh, different city.
Took me a while.
Give me that thing back. That's, did I get it back? Did you sign the bottom of it?
I did. Is there another spot?
Did I give you the wrong one? Oh, no. Oh, dwelling. Basement. There's two of them. in
One was
here.
filed in 24 and one was in 25, like after it's finished. That's all I get.
I'm gonna have you sign both. I don't know. I don't want to assume. Does it? Work out for you. Thank you for that. Get that start off.
Bill needs some saving.
Waging breeding's out in the hall.
Okay. Get it.
Will you see if that's him? Thank you.
That is.
We're ready for you. Ready to come in and save Bill, huh? Oh, I'll tell you the bill. So,
Get along.
Get a line.
yeah.
Clayton, how you doing?
Chest.
Guys,
Have a seat.
let's save Bill.
You have to sit up there within reach.
Oh, you're,
Bruce Street, I'm gonna lean this way, is that what you're saying?
Well, I don't know if that's any
I don't know if
safer.
that's a good idea.
The other way.
Probably less safe.
You obviously haven't
Good morning.
heard, I guess.
Morning.
Yeah.
Can I help you?
Yeah, just hand those around there.
Yeah.
You got.
All right. There's a magnifying glass there to help take a closer look at things. Yeah. Okay, so. Contacted Dave here a while back about some possibilities of ways of saving the county some dollars. And he recommended I just be able to meet with you all And so I'd be curious kind of what you've already have talked about, shared out, so I know where to start.
If they start at the beginning, what you can do and what you're all about.
Okay, all right. And so then if you had a chance to look at the video link that I sent it all, as far as that presentation, you watch that?
I don't remember seeing one.
Okay.
I'll see it either.
I did not want.
Okay, all right. And as far as timing wise, how are we doing? How are we doing for timing?
Well,
We got 45 minutes or so, or?
no, not 45. I'll
Okay,
give you 20 to a half hour.
20 minutes, a half hour, okay. All right, good enough. Let's see. I think the best way to do this. I'll tell you, I had, first off, a little bit of background for myself. I have a business called Bill Sammy's Advocate. And I founded it on the principle of trying to help businesses save money on their expenses, reduce their expenses, and also just gain financial efficiencies. And so I'm kind of a broker or an advocate for businesses to go in and offer various ways that they can save the money, put money in their pocket. So recently, I actually shared one particular service that I think is very helpful for communities especially. And I shared that with our Chamber of Commerce in Harlem. I live in Harlem. I grew up around this area in Destin for most of my life, but live in Harlem now, presented to the Chamber of Commerce and the Chamber Director, Todd Moline, probably referred to him, and also the City Administrator, Jarvis Paganja. He was there. Both of them really liked what they heard after having watched the video to the point where they are basically endorsing me because they see the value for the community as far as the employees and the businesses. The particular opportunity, well, let's see, if you look at the first sheet that I handed out here is just a lot of the different areas that I work in as far as saving money. And most of those services, what we do is we can go in and work and look and see ways of expensing them. We can negotiate a lot of rates lower without changing services or contracts. And we simply share in the savings. So if there's no benefit to the client, then there's no fees to be paid. So they basically get a free audit of the service to see if they can do better at what they've got. We simply share in the savings. Now, there's some that are more strategies, efficiency strategies. And one of them that I'd like to share primarily today is this one on the FICA tax liability that employers are paying. They pay taxes on their employees, and then the employees pay some, and the business pays some of those FICA tax savings. So we are able to, through all the different compliant tax codes, we're able to meet with an employer and have that employer be able to reduce their FICA tax savings by $640 per year per employee. That goes directly to the bottom line. So increase their net income. You have to have 25 employees or more. Okay. And the way that they do that is they combine it with the wellness benefit. That wellness benefit is for the employees. And that wellness benefit is provided and paid for entirely by the FICA tax savings. So the employee benefits, they have no out-of-pocket expense. In fact, they actually see an increase in their take-home pay for most employees. Their take-home pay will actually go up because those FICA tax savings provides for that. So that's a nice feature that everybody likes to see their income go up.
Like, how does that work? I mean, is this just something that people are overlooking? Or why aren't county employees, other counties doing this already?
That's a good question. Good question. The tax codes, some of them go back decades. The cafeteria 125 plans. I've heard of them, in terms of health benefits. This takes advantage of some of those codes. But a lot of this has happened lately because of the Obama bill for healthcare. that has certain things that brought this about, and then the COVID. All the things went through COVID, and, the technology advances that have happened since then made all this possible in terms of what can be offered to the employers and the employees in terms of technology and administration. And so, it's fairly new. There are other companies that offer some similar things. I think I think there's maybe 2 or 3 of the ones that are even considered, ones to consider in terms of services. But by and large, less than 5% have heard about this program.
So when you say wellness, sorry.
Yeah.
Like, that would be money that we wouldn't have to pay to the federal government through TICA.
Right.
That we could use to put towards like a gym membership. I mean, when you say wellness?
Sure, let me define that for you. If you go to the second page on here, there's a program, the administrative program is from EHP, a company called EHP, and they have combined efforts with Revive Health, which provides wellness benefits. So those two have an exclusive operating relationship for this type of arrangement. Revive Health provides for the wellness benefits. And they have 5 primary core benefits. That's their primary care, urgent care, pharmacy solution, mental health, weight health, those 5. And with those, the wellness benefit primarily, it's not considered insurance. There's no deductibles. There's no co-insurance. They can use whatever provider service that they're going to use. The nice thing about Revive Health is that unlike some of these other providers out there who go out and get different vendors and pull together a program, Revive Health has pretty much everything in-house. They have their own pharmacy, they have their own doctors, so they're a lot more efficient. And where some of these other providers, they'll have doctors like telehealth, this is telehealth. They might have some new trainees, doctors who are handling those calls. Revive Health has doctors who have at least 10 years of experience, who are US certified and trained. So it's a difference there as well, but the primary care, just to give you an example. Let's say in the middle of the night, if you've got a son or daughter, wakes up and their belly's really hurt, you don't know what to do. So instead of running to the emergency room, generally you can call into their urgent care. Within 1 to 3 to 5 minutes, you're gonna get a doctor that you're talking with. And in most cases, they can diagnose whatever that symptom that is, and they can determine whether or not you actually need to go or not. But in most cases, you don't have to. And if maybe they need an allergy medication, maybe they need, some kind of a medication, that doctor can prescribe that. And if you have 24 access in your town, it's a pharmacy, go down and pick it up for absolutely free. Primary care, generally you can get an appointment online for 1 to 3 days. Again, there's no co-pays, no deductibles, no out-of-pocket costs, it's all included. Mental health, 24/7 access, well, that's kind of a big deal too, where people are stressed or needing somebody to talk to. They can talk to a board certified clinician about various things regarding mental health. So those are the five core services, but along with that, they've got like hundreds of videos for education. They have discounts for screenings like DNA screening or blood types, blood screening, where you get discounts. Over 1,000 of the medications are absolutely free if they're generics. If they're brand names, because they are in-house, their brand names, they give discounts, but they give exceptionally deep discounts. Again, because of their own pharmacy bill right now. So what you find is that when employees start utilizing all these expenses through the wellness program, through Revive, they'll go in there and use that. That pulls a lot of the load off of the group health insurance program, not workers' comp.
Exactly. He is a great resource.
You found
Yeah,
that.
that's good, yeah. So then, as a lot of these claims are pulled away, they'll find that their group health insurance premiums maybe stabilize or even go down. And the workers' comp sometimes can go down, premiums that they're paying. They also, instead of somebody going to a doctor in Omaha and having to take a half a day or a day off to go travel, a lot of times they can get it taken care of right here through the wellness program. Then again, that's less absenteeism for the employees. And then typically helps with hiring and retention because they have a nice extra benefit. Often fills the gaps of what your primary insurance covers.
So how do you get paid?
I get paid through the services. There's
Through the services, meaning,
through HP. I get paid through HP, who's the administrator for this. There's actually a $93 per month is savings in the FICA tax saving. Of that $40, of that $93, EHP keeps $40 of it. That's how we get paid. And then that's how the employees, not the employees, the employers will net $640 per year per employee in the pocket, about 50.
so if the employer reduces FICA payments per employee, doesn't that result then in the employee receiving a lower social security dollar amount once they retire? Because we're reducing the FICA amount?
A little bit, yeah, a little bit less there, but they're getting so much more, a lot more in terms of their health costs. They're gaining through a lot of the things here that, you look at all the prescription costs, medication, healthcare. And so that offsets what little they may be giving up, which is not that much in lieu of what the total what they pay. It's a smaller part, but
And have you seen, I guess since you're in Harlan, do you do anything with the city of Harlan or with Shelby County?
I haven't. This was just rolled out for me as like I said, I'm kind of a broker and advocate of services. This was just rolled out in June. It's where I had access to it. So I've been geared up. Jarvis did
So
look
this
at,
is a brand new program just starting in June of 2025.
it's actually been going, I think, since January. Revive Health has been
And where,
around.
where did it come from? I guess.
Sure, Revive Health, they're actually looking at, I think, in Florida. And they've been around for, I think, 3 to 5 years. And so EHP, they're the ones who pulled this together and got acceptable. In terms of locally, well, first off, in terms of the program, the state of Louisiana, they've already enrolled in this. So other states are looking at it, their governments. There's like about, I thought 16 to 18 other states that are seriously looking at it in the process right now, evaluating. When I talked with Jarvis, he mentioned that has something to do with the city contracts, the way the contracts are written, that they weren't able to do that for the city, but he is helping me to talk with the hospital and Monogram.
So are you the only representative in the state of Iowa?
I don't know how many other reps there are. There's not that many in Iowa. Iowa's kind of a strange bird. It's right in the middle of the Midwest. A lot of times you'll see,
So do you have a defined territory?
no, I can go anywhere.
Okay.
So just voluntary on the employees part to sign up?
Yes. Yes, it's totally voluntary, so employees don't have to do it. Now, the employer doesn't get that credit unless the employee enrolls. And the employee doesn't get the benefit of those FICA tax savings if they don't enroll, because the two are coupled together. But an employee doesn't have to take it if they don't want to. They just don't experience the increase in take-home pay and wellness.
We need 25 employees to do it.
Pardon?
We need 25 employees or more to be able
Yeah. How many employees do you have as a county?
100.
to, more than 25.
Okay.
Is it for full and part-time, or would it just be? for full-time? So we're like at 150.
115.
Okay.
So typically, you go around, and talk to counties. Have you had any discussions then, where if they said, okay, let's go down this road? Where like we'll have department head meetings, or like maybe I'll put out something for all the employees. Have you been a part of those discussions with other counties or cities and how that goes with their employees? And are they willing to sign up or not? Are they seeing it now?
I can tell you that company-wide, what they're experiencing so far, this is not just county and state governments, this is all kinds of businesses. But typically, when an employer decides to enroll, once an employer receives their census proposal report, in other words, the business submits the marital status and dependence of their employees. They don't have to give names, they don't have to give social security numbers, but they need to provide their ages, their family makeup, so they know what dependents are. What the wages are. Once they get that, once that census report is turned in. And they get their report back, their proposal report back, typically 9 out of 10 businesses will sign up into the program. And when they do that, typically about 85 to 90% of the employees will actually enroll in the program. So it's got a very good sign up. I think a lot of times these others have like maybe 40, 50, 60%, inclusion or enrolling. Once the employees do enroll, their response has been about 40 to 50% of these employees use those benefits on a monthly basis. So it also has a high utilization. I did.
It's about lowering bills.
Pardon?
We're always about lowering our bills and make more money available in our employees' paychecks. So
Yes.
all of that sounds good. But it's kind of, I don't know how you even get started or how does it, how do you roll out your program? I guess
Yeah.
I'll just get right to that.
Yeah, I'll tell you, the steps are pretty easy. The first step would be, well, I guess I know from my end what the steps are. I don't know about from how your county process have to go through, but
We've never done anything like this, I don't think so.
okay,
They reinventing a wheel.
Okay. alrighty. I know it is possible. I will tell you that I have been in contact with Brad Holton from the ISAC.
Yep,
Oh.
he's our chief financial officer.
Chief Financial Officer, yeah. I'll just be transparent up front what he wrote back.
Dave will know.
Huh?
Dave will know if you aren't.
Yeah. I said, he appreciated the phone call earlier today. He said, I spent the last hour listening to the video, doing some research. I'm going to pass. If a county wants to implement this, it's up to them. So, and I'll read through the reason too, because I've got some, I don't think he's quite understood everything, but I do notice when I talked with the Harlan County, Shelby County, they mentioned that I need to go through ISAC because that's where they kind of got the recommendations from. And that's what led me to the state counties. And then when I talked with Dave, I believe he mentioned that you're not part of necessarily the ISAC recommendation. So like two
Well,
different.
we're not part of their health insurance plan.
Health insurance.
Right,
Okay.
right.
We have our own.
They
Each
don't-
county.
They don't dictate that to the counties.
No.
Every county.
They can
make
recommend
their
it.
own. Yeah.
Because that's kind of the way I took it, like, and that's kind of what he's saying here. He says, if the county wants to implement it, that's up to them. So it's already possible. He said the reason for my decision is twofold. He says, I don't think it's accurate from an IRS standpoint to be lowering someone's tax liability through their paycheck for health-related expenses, and then only making them log in, revive one time per year to stay in compliance. With Revive, it isn't just a matter of just logging into the dashboard. You actually have to use the service because that's part of the requirement. But one thing that's unique is sometimes some of these types of programs will require an employee to do maybe half a dozen things. And they're often sometimes a lot more involved, where Revive is one use of the program, and they're generally fairly reasonable to do. And the first year, just because of the process, that pretty already takes care of that requirement for everybody the first year. Then after that, most people are using it anyway, because they like it, and we encourage them to utilize the program. So they have a high utilization. So I understand what you're saying, but it is compliant, or else the state of Louisiana would have allowed it. I'm sure they vetted it quite well. Second reason is we have built a wellness program around getting to the employee's primary physician. We want employees to get a physical every year and to see their doctor when they're sick. I understand that Revive is a telehealth company, and we also offer telehealth, but we want the employee to have conversations with their primary care physician so the doctor can keep on top of issues. I can understand that. With a portal like Revive, if it is utilized like you say it will be, I don't think the employees will have that relationship with their doctor, and that could lead to further complications down the road. So some of my thoughts on that is that, if employers really want their employees to see their doctor, encourage them to have a physical, they can still do that. I can still encourage their employees to do that on their own. And encourage that relationship. It should be up to the employees anyway. In terms of sickness, so many things, just like we we're talking earlier, they can save a lot of costs on sickness. They can save on prescriptions, they can save on time and convenience when they're available. And that works best for the families, because it's convenient and handy. Whereas if they have to schedule with the doctor, get their kids in there, get them out of school. A lot of that, I've given the employee had the choice. You know, which would they choose? Also, as a whole, about 30% of things that go through the local hospitals, 30% of those things are outsourced to other providers. And sometimes they get lost. I know there's some concern that it would take money out of the area, but what Revive does is they want to actually establish a relationship with the primary doctor on things that require or benefit from that personal influence. So they actually redirect them back. And then just the third thing is that kind of the way things are going now, so many people do things online more all the time anyway. It's kind of the way of the future is. They say that AI now is so much more much greater quality diagnoses than even physicians themselves. And so it's just kind of the direction that our world is going.
So how does Revive work with pre-existing conditions? Are they
Doesn't
covered? It doesn't matter.
doesn't matter. Oh, they don't look at pre-existing conditions at all. A factor.
Hmm.
What did you find the video under? What did it come under? Is it under,
If you look at my.
Is it on their
email-
on your
Yeah,
website?
if you look at my webpage, it's billsavingsadvocate.com. And if you go down to the bottom of that middle column where it's talking about the FICA tax savings, there are 3 links there. One of them is this press release I just been taking information off of. There's one that says why Revive. It tells why Revive is unique amongst other similar people who offer, similar companies who offer similar benefits. And third is that video that Jarvis and Todd watched, and it's an excellent video.
So this doesn't replace our health insurance.
No, doesn't affect it at all.
Running concurrently with that, sort of.
Yeah.
Ish.
Doesn't affect it at all.
Can a patient require that Revive communicate with their primary physician? So I have a spouse that has medical issues and takes a significant amount of prescription drugs.
Yeah,
And if he were to call in and be treated, how would that not affect him? If they were to prescribe something that could directly affect something he takes currently for a condition. I mean, I feel like that communication with the primary physician, at least the primary, if not even a secondary physician, would be very important. I know in my family's case, it would be very important, but can you direct Revive to do that?
yes, they do work with primary physicians, yes. The other thing, you just brought up another good point, and that is this wellness program covers not only the employee, it also covers the spouse and all the dependent children. And too, so like say your children need something, they're all covered, the whole family's covered in there. Thank you. And with all the same, no deductibles, no co-insurances, no out-of-pocket expense. And another stat I heard was like 70% of claims against an employee's policy where dependents are allowed on the policy, 70% of those costs are by the dependents as opposed to the employee. So
oh yeah.
it helps that way as well.
Do you ever run into where the employee don't take part of it because they get busy and to jump on, do the things that are required, that they end up not utilizing it because, it's just too cumbersome or too many things I have to do to,
Well, it's rare because, like I said, they have the first year's already completed for them already anyway, but just through the process. And then the second year, they monitor it all the time. You can watch, you get reports as the employer, you get reports, I think it's like 10 different levels down of the most common uses of that program in your little group. So you can tell if people are getting, or if they're mostly having like a flu symptoms, or if they're going in for accidents, it'll tell you the percentage of your employees that month that are using those particular areas. So you get reporting that allows you to monitor how much the employees are using that program individually, and then you can always follow up. And so generally what EHP does is they have a really great customer service. That's one thing why they have such a high utilization and enrollment, is because they educate the clients, they encourage them to use it and be excited about the program, let them know how much is available. And they keep in contact with them. And then you have those rare cases that maybe they are, they get busy or they're stubborn or whatever, then they might talk to the county and say, hey, encourage them, But that's, like I said, that's pretty rare.
Can we legally encourage them? Isn't that? Do you have red flags going off in your head? I'm just asking. Sorry, I mean, to say it that way.
any supplemental insurance, we
just-
can't dictate that to them. That's. up
No,
to
we
them.
can't, but we can't offer medical advice or, you know what I'm saying? Do you
Yeah.
understand what I
Yeah,
just
Sure
asked?
do.
You did, believe it or not.
Okay, you did. I mean, that, it sounds like a fine line that we'd be crossing over HIPAA, PPE, or you know what I mean, personal protected. I don't know, maybe I'm seeing it more.
I think it would be more of a kind of a department head get together to find out what they don't like about the program, what they do like about the
Yeah,
program,
it'd
and
be
find out
interesting.
their reason for not utilizing what's available to them.
Yeah.
Not, just a kindly suggestion that, we have this available to you. Is there a reason you don't use it and you do what you want with it, is the way I would understand that. But what keeps going through my mind continuously and constantly is how do you, you make your money, it says complimentary, your tech team with our no cost team, our low cost, I just get right to it. What's the cost and how it's gonna save us money, but it costs money to save money. So we just kind of got to get to the bottom line here of how do you get started? What's it cost? That's what I care about.
Oh, yeah,
because,
sure.
we'll find out what the program, but before you can even engage in it, you
Yeah,
have to really understand what's it cost, because nothing is free.
right. Well, that's where the FICA tax savings comes, get paid to the plan. So the first step, I'll just kind of walk you through. The first step would be to have a discovery call with our team. That's a requirement to get the process rolling.
Okay.
That could be a Zoom call with our team. And that normally would take about 35 to 45 minutes. And you have the opportunity to ask questions. They basically go through what's on that video on there.
We're at a disadvantage because we haven't, so I'm sitting here wishing that before we had the conversation, I probably
know.
had somebody hint to me, hey, you should watch that video. Because we get so many emails and if we clicked on, and sometimes it's a test to see if we click on something we shouldn't be clicking on. So unless it's somebody I know, I don't click on
You
it.
never do that.
I pass every test because I don't know yet, I don't click on it.
Yeah,
Never been cool.
exactly.
Yeah,
So-
so that's part of why we're so just sitting here like deer in the headlights. We
I know,
don't know.
the video is very clear, very,
Do you think we should watch the video?
Yeah.
As our group and see if some of the questions that I'm sitting here having, because this could be a 3-hour day.
Yeah.
If we don't, kind of get
Sure.
right to,
yeah.
are we interested at all? Is the savings
Yeah.
going to be what we're looking for? Because I'll reiterate.
I mean,
we're
I guess
always-
my thought, Gene, is that, we're on a fiscal year basis. We can't change anything midstream. So
Yep,
this is something we can implement if we wanted to have it as an option, it wouldn't be till July 1st of next year.
We forget all about it by
So-
then.
And the other thing is, I guess this thing just launched. I mean, we just have a press release that says August 1st. So we don't have a lot of backup. It'd be nice from my standpoint. I'd like to see actual statistics of people that have actually used it through a year.
Yeah,
And bring that back to the board at some point in time.
we call
So
this
we
the
can
first
see
step.
actual, results, I guess.
Yeah,
I
that's
also got a question.
The point
for you.
you brought up
Information
earlier
that they
really
sent.
concerns me too.
I mean, how would we know what comes over
Affecting
to
their social
employers? I
security
mean, that starts
contributions
to
and Medicare.
jump over
you
into
know.
the HIPAA world, doesn't it?
It does.
How's that gonna affect? I mean, that's gonna be
I would
huge
imagine they would redact any.
when we go to retire
diagnosis
and.
It depends.
Assuming there will be social.
It's like what we
Let me
did.
see how much if I can-
Five
Digital.
Five-year-old person.
Right, I could do, I sent you that iBirth report.
You did, yeah.
I bet I could do that with, I know, I thought so.
We're kind of
I
getting
could do that
multiple
with-
conversations
I-
going
Yes,
on
we
here,
are.
so
Sorry.
We have digressed, thank you.
let's stay on track. Now you're good.
No, you're.
Yeah,
But I think Craig's right. It'd be nice to see some data on how it goes forward since it is so new. Part of your process, if we do come back and hear that, I do think it'd be good to, our second step should be having you, if we want to go this route, meet with department heads, maybe a department head meeting.
Okay.
Because of course it has to come through us, but yet we still have all the involvement and engagement from all department heads and they would have to be on board.
Video link with that.
right,
Right.
that's,
That
Well,
might be
I would like to, I mean,
Right.
and I know you probably have done your due diligence and stuff, but you're saying it's a FICA savings. But I need to do my due diligence and seeing exactly how we go about that credit. You know, I need to set up an employee some way to have some kind of FICA, not going to FICA, but going somewhere else. And I mean, I need to logistically figure that part out and make sure that Iowa isn't, is compliant with that kind of savings.
Correct.
Because, I mean, I did a very short research because I just found out about this morning. And I didn't see where Iowa had any FICA tax savings other than tips and that, restaurant business. So I couldn't find anything. So if you have that kind of information that you come forward, that would be great. But yeah, I couldn't find anything. So I definitely need to do more research on that part of it.
I would say that, as far as watching that video, that shows you where, it shows you right to cost, where it comes from, how it works out, and they give you an example of a payroll out there, how it's paid out, and all the different areas of taxes that it affects. So I encourage you to watch that video. That'll answer a lot of questions right there. Second thing is, once you decide to get into the discovery call, that I'm a messenger. I'm not the people that administrate the program. And you can talk with the department heads and people who are actually ahead of us, who can answer all the compliance, all the questions as to what for valid in all 50 states. So they can provide CPA reports, they can provide other, they told me that once you get to the proposal stage, once you send in your census report, and they give you actually a proposal back as to what exactly this will look like for your group, they can provide you with testimonials and people you can contact to verify with them too. They figure if you're gonna put that much effort in, then we're willing to put more effort in at that point.
so I look at this as, kind of just opening up our eyes that
Yep.
there's something else out there. We
Yeah.
have time to do research to gather data and next year, probably when do you think, November?
We would probably want to roll it out with open enrollment. Right,
Okay.
In May.
I mean, it's in May, when insurance and all of that's here, and then this would be something else that we could bring to the table of this is. An option for you and educate people on, why it is that,
Right.
we think they should do this and. Definitely would need a lot more information and, and I did try to watch the video and it wouldn't let me go to it. There was a couple of links broken, or maybe it was my cookies or, something was, maybe not let me get there. So I didn't actually get to watch the video, but I'll try again,
Yep,
so.
I will try, I'll watch it.
But I think it's worth exploring. I mean, if
Absolutely.
Yeah,
it's something that we could add benefit to our employees, cost savings.
legally.
legally. You know, and it's an interesting take on your part that you don't get paid unless there is cost savings. So it's not like we have to front a bunch of money and then hope
Right,
it comes
right.
pays back.
Right, yeah, that's not-
Kind of opened the door and opened our eyes a little bit. Plenty of time to do research and, so, you know,
Yeah.
nothing can really be done today. It's discussion only, so.
Well, it'll just, you know, you asked this what the process was, the first we discovery call. Like I mentioned, they'll probably go through that same presentations on that video pretty close. And you can either have them give that presentation again, their purpose, or you can just simply ask questions and save you a lot of time, you know, just if you have any questions, they can answer them right there. Then the next step would be to provide a census of the employees. And they give you, the CPAs will work with you to, they said they less than 30 minutes to do, just make your payroll information. Submit that in, they come back with a proposal, and you decide whether or not you feel it's worth proceeding from there. And then if it's enrollment, then lion's share of that enrollment implementation happens through us. So they work very close with the employees. The costs involved, it's about, I think it's $149 per month is the benefit that comes out of the FICA tax savings for the employees. And so again, the FICA tax savings pays for that $149, but that isn't the actual cost of it. And the employee doesn't see anything. They choose to participate, they get the benefit of that. If they choose not to participate, which they can, then they don't get it, they don't get to take advantage of that money that's there.
What's your percentage take home after you get people enrolled? I know you threw numbers out and stuff, but.
Yeah, percentage for my personally, my commission.
Yeah,
My commission is about 15, well, it depends, they got bonuses that go on, depending. Like it's generally about $18 for me per employee.
and then that's not including what Revive gets out of it too.
Well,
I mean, what's the total, like,
the total is $40 a month per employee, that is what, the FICA tax savings is $93 a month. The amount that's taken out for administrative fees is $40 a month. That's what pays for Revive, that pays for me, that pays for EHP, that provides for all the administration and everything in there. And then the remaining $53 a month, that's what goes into the employer's pocket, use however they want.
okay,
So, yeah, I appreciate you listening here.
Appreciate you bringing it to our attention.
Okay.
Well, it's out there, what's the big deal?
but good way to get kind of our feet wet in here, you know, get the conversation started.
Yeah, well, just some other conversations. I mean, now that we've kind of broached this, we kind of a timing thing to look at, you know, it's gonna sound like it's gonna be a while, which is all right. It's all right, but just to kind of whet your appetite, there are several other areas here that operate similar, but don't have quite the complexity of the tax codes and everything. It's just simply we can help get your rates down on a lot of services you may be using. Again, there's no cost for it, nothing up front.
And that'll all be in the video.
That will be, it'll be on my website,
Okay.
in part, because what I do is
Separate from FICA.
yeah, this is separate, totally different. This is other services that I have through my Bill Savings Advocate. Because there might be ways that we can come in and help you get your vendors that you're already using, get the rates lower. And most times we can just do that without changing contracts or services. We just negotiate the rates lower. And that can vary depending on who you use, because sometimes people in communities use local community people and they don't want those rates negotiated lower, even though they maybe could be. It's entirely up to you. But there are some vendors that maybe you don't really care. You know, the relationship isn't there as much. We can maybe get those rates lowered, and typically when we do that, people think, oh, I'm gonna get those vendors angry. I mean, that doesn't happen. There's a lot of vendors you'd be surprised. We realize they're overcharging, they lower the rates, and life goes on and you get the benefit of the savings.
But none of those decisions will be made until we decide to sign up. Your company would talk to those vendors.
Yeah, what I would work with you, depending on how you want to approach it. If you want to do an overall efficiency audit, we can do that. If you want to look at, oh, I just want to have my cell phone service reviewed, you know, we can do that, item by item. And then what I do is like I said, I'm kind of a broker of financial efficiency, so I look and say, okay, this is what this is what you'd like to look at. Now I look at who's the best one to provide that service for you, given what you want to do. Because they take different approaches. I don't want to say you get the best approach.
So is Bill Savings Advocate the name of your company that
Yes.
you created?
Yes.
And how long has that company been in place?
I've been in place for about 3 years.
About 3 years.
Yeah.
So you started with what you just spoke lately on as far as helping companies save money, and now you've just added the health insurance piece
Yes.
to your
That's a
company.
recent offering. Yeah, it just
Okay.
became available to me. So, yeah.
Okay,
Who are some of your current clients, you can say?
I did with, the SCCO in Harlan, Shelby County Community Outreach was one. And we were able to give them about $20,000 in ERC money, ERC credits, because we can help people. We have a service that you can look and search for federal, state, and local tax savings. And at that point, ERC was still in the works, so we're about 20,000 in that little nonprofit. And then I had a deal in Harlan too, where if any of the local businesses wanted to contribute to Shelby County Community Outreach, we had just had an arrangement where if they would work through us, we got them savings, but normally we split 50-50. And so we committed to 10% of our earnings would go to Shelby County Community Outreach. The business said they would give 10% of their savings to Shelby County Outreach. And so they picked up another $1,800, I think, through that.
How does that work? I know we talked about $40 per month for the FICA and Provide, 53, but for these other services that you do through Bill Savings Advocate, is that up 50% or what's your percentage? Those costs that you get paid back on?
On the FICA one or the?
No, the other one.
The other one, it varies. There's different ones. Some depend on the size of the business as to how much, and some of the services have different rates that they take out. So for instance, we have another service that's called an everything technology service. It covers everything from cybersecurity to cloud service to equipment. They do an audit. It's not, again, as extensive as you want the audit to be doing, but anything related to technology, and they'll say, well, you could be more efficient if you did it this way. Or you have this system aren't talking together. We can get them to talk together and make it a lot more efficient. So workflow automations. They can go in and provide an overview of that they've got the competency, they've got like over 700 vendors that they work with. So they might give you 3 or 4 recommendations with their primary recommendation you can choose. A lot of times you can save like 30% on services. Just by utilizing that network and that expertise.
How much time does it typically, like for us, it'd be time on Terry's plate, you did an audit for these other services. What kind of involvement from the department heads, from our auditor, would it take?
It would depend on which area you were interested in. And what I do is typically we schedule a discovery call. And I'm on those discovery calls because I'm your advocate, Joe. So it's a 3-way Zoom. And then once that's understood and decided that they're gonna move forward, generally then we take everything from there. That's very low lift on the part of anybody else.
Okay.
So on the FICA, it's take $93, so $1,116 or $20 a year. And you guys keep 480 and the employee gets $640 back, right? So you're taking $1,120 out of their FICA to begin with and giving them some back and you guys keep some.
Right, yeah.
Am I understanding that
Yeah,
right?
yeah, the total FICA tax savings. It pulled out that $149 a month for the employee, it pulled out the $40 for the administrative fee from the employer.
Okay. So I'll make sure I'm understanding.
Yeah,
that
so on one side, you got the employer.
How much it's getting actually taken out
Um,
annually per employee. well, say $1,120 that they would be not contributing to their retirement.
Yeah, watch the video, it gives you color, what it color.
Found it, so already. Very good.
Well, I think it's something for us all to kind of chew over and think about and what we would, come up with and.
Yeah, I'd like to suggest another thing, a topic for another time would be, you have a way of saving individuals 30 to 50% on their health insurance costs. Sometimes we can use that same plan to pull dependents off of a group plan, you can help employers out. And so from a community standpoint, your county employees are ones that help the community, the county, community here. As you're out talking with other business, I just appreciate you keeping me in mind, because what we offer to you might be more of a process because you're a county. But for some of our employers out here, we could say, even smaller businesses, it would be this program, but different one that offers to smaller people, less groups, single families actually. We could often save them 30 to 50% on the health insurance.
Nice.
We could save businesses all the different areas here and keep that money in town as opposed to going out to Verizon. Whoever it's gonna go to, keeps it in the community.
Which the big, got it pulled up here. I know that's you, so I got the right ones.
I wore the shirt on purpose.
Yeah, there we go. I got them.
Awesome.
Well, let's stay in touch and we can kind of, like I said, think this over and go through it and what we want to do and, all right, just keep that line of communication open.
Fair enough.
If Amy needs anything, I'm sure you have his contact.
What's your role, Amy?
I do the payroll.
Okay, great.
Amy helps with the health insurance benefits and guides us in that direction.
Okay, super.
Okay. Awesome.
All right,
Well, thank you for coming in.
You bet. Well, thank you. I appreciate the time. Thank you.
Thank you.
I would miss that.
They do their time, get like that. Good with that. Speaking farmers.
Right.
Without the massive deductions we can rack up. You do have those. Have that ability. That's the other
They're
thing.
less small. Yeah.
We have one more thing on our agenda.
Yeah.
Somebody
I
texted
didn't
that.
realize he was gonna want that much time.
An hour or two.
Yeah.
Take it out. I mean,
And I didn't realize
With
there
the
was a
Secretary
video
of
of
State's
that.
website.
It's worth reviewing, it's worth looking at and
No, well, I
Really,
I mentioned the video, but well, come talk to us,
Yeah,
give us your spiel.
Yeah.
And I guess something to look at.
yeah.
I'll
Seems
Alrighty,
weird. It's cautious about it, but yes.
always more conscious.
I don't want to be a guinea pig.
I didn't,
I've been a guinea
just
pig
like
before.
a little more too crazy about it, taken away from some of these people retiring.
Right.
Their social security at the end.
Right?
Well, like I just pointed out to Craig, if you take
Is that-
more out, there would come one time when you file your taxes in April or whatever. You know, people kind of get used to having so much put in, so they always have a little bit to come back in
Yeah.
April.
Yeah, how does it change the taxable wages?
Yeah, it could throw them in a loop and then get them all.
I mean, it said it was in compliant with the IRS section 125 or something like that.
Yeah.
Right.
I think
All right.
Irene's gonna
Time to
look
pass
at it,
this
try to
out.
figure that out. too.
Okay, well, doesn't hurt to hear people out.
No, not at all.
So,
For sale. with
No.
there.
okay, let's move on to Associated Engineering Club.
Yeah, so,
He didn't read it.
$2,400.
yeah, $2,400. I think it was Verizon that contacted the assessor's office and Ethan came up and talked to me about it and then he forwarded the email to me and I got a hold of Tom Medihey. Because Verizon wanted to do their own structural analysis and Tom's like, yep, no, we do that for you because we don't want it to be misrepresented. We don't, you know what I mean? They will make sure that
That's the one that just got done, that Zach and just got done with,
Yeah, it should.
or is this a different one?
Is this for our tower here?
This tower here,
Yeah, that's what Zach just did, I think.
he did an analysis.
Yeah, when Tom just got it done,
Hold on, there.
that was.
Oh, I don't know.
That was,
Let me see.
was that for Verizon?
Was it, no, that was AT&T.
That was AT&T.
Is yours Verizon?
I'm pretty sure this is Verizon.
Hold on a minute.
You should have brought that email with that Ethan had shared with me.
Structural analysis. That guy's from Hamilton. Aaron Walker's who he's been talking with, AT&T equipment swap.
Yeah.
So, and Verizon's wanting to, are they on this already?
Uh-huh.
And they're wanting to do an equipment swap or?
I don't know exactly what they're wanting to do, but.
What
they-
is that?
Why are we getting billed? Who do we pay?
Well, Tom Meddy's our structural engineer. Or Tom,
Correct.
is that, how's his name?
Yep.
Medley, yeah.
Meddy. He's our structural engineer down in Omaha.
Okay.
Past practice though, I
That's who
know,
sent us this bill?
It's a,
Well,
it's a quote,
how much was it again?
2,400.
past
Which is kind
practice,
of been in
I
line with
know,
what they've been.
anytime we've had any structural engineering done by Tom, that bill got passed right on to whoever was wanting the upgrades done to our tower.
I think that,
That's good to know now.
Yeah, I mean,
So who would do that? You said Dwayne would do that?
Dwayne
No,
would
we
pass
didn't
it
know.
on.
He just gave it
That's
to
what he
the
used to.
Not
provider.
Dwayne
So
anymore.
is that something Zach needs to do?
Zach's doing now.
yeah,
But instead of sending the bill to the county, does he need to send it to AT&T?
I think we
send it.
got billed for it and he just forwarded it to AT&T or whoever, just said, hey, it's
Okay.
your
When
responsibility.
you say he, you mean Dwayne.
Dwayne,
Dwayne used to do it.
So now we need Zach to do it. Right?
But I wonder if we paid the last one for AT&T.
Well, we can get reimbursed.
Yeah.
We can get reimbursed.
So we approve it and then try to get reimbursed, or do we just hold it and send it to them?
Well, this isn't an invoice. This
It's
isn't,
quote.
right.
That's right.
And that's for their using
And I
their,
can let Verizon know that this is,
we gotta do it through Tom.
yeah,
They're wanting.
and they
their own
know
person.
that.
We don't trust Verizon to send out their
No,
contractor. We want to have our.
because
own
we
guy
don't
say,
want
hey,
our
How's
tower
this gonna affect? our
jeopardized.
tower?
They don't want the
they don't
tower.
care about our tower.
Since we need to do that, we need to send the bill
They need
to
to pay
AT&T, Verizon, or whoever requested that they do this. Because
yeah,
we want to protect our tower.
our tower is pretty extensively loaded already.
It's full.
Yeah, so swaps is the only option, I think, equipment swap.
Unless
like
they
you
wanna
said.
make structural
Changes,
change.
and they're
And then
responsible for
that's,
those.
they do that.
At their
We
cost.
still have many check that too,
Correct.
and he'll tell them what's got.
Okay.
Gotta add
Good.
support.
I didn't know that's how it was.
I
That's a
don't
good
know how many
question.
years ago we had to go in and I think AT&T wanted to do some, Verizon did some major stuff, but we had to go in and actually inject the ground with stuff to firm the ground up, and put new rebar on, to restabilize the whole tower. It was quite a project.
Huh.
Because then they paid for it.
Everybody got to.
So we can hold off and
So,
I didn't know you could inject stuff from the
yeah,
ground.
I don't know if it was like expandable and they shut.
How
There's stuff like you used to pump up your driveway, I would assume. That was, yeah.
I think they went down like 30 or 40 feet.
Jerry, you want us to take no action on that?
Stabilize.
It's not my decision, it's you
Substructure.
what you wanna do.
Let's find out if we're not talking about the same thing for sure, if this ain't the AT&T deal or if this is Verizon. Now, I don't know. I'm sure if AT&T's equipment's obsolete, Verizon is probably not far behind.
Well, trying to get to the 5G or whatever the heck they're doing,
Yeah.
7 or 8 or 9 or 10G by now.
Right,
Check it out.
get to the point where you won't be walking here with a bag pop, driveway pop, and it's start popping.
Locked in the front door.
I love that.
Okay, well, let's do some more digging in the vat. We'll just hold off.
Yeah.
All right,
Is that instead of having the parrot, or the bird, the canary in the mine, you bring in a bag of popcorn, set it in the middle of the bed. Starts popping everybody out.
Okay, move on to citizens input. Nobody in the room, anybody on Zoom?
No,
Okay,
I have one thing.
go ahead, Jerry.
Small thing. The Pam Bourne investigation, we got the first invoice for that. Well, and regarding the other invoice that you approved today, where would you like that paid from?
Do we have, is that in the claims that her bill already?
No,
No,
claims are next week.
We'll see it next week.
What would you, what are the best options? Do you have a recommendation?
General services. I mean, it can come out of board of supervisors, and of course, wherever it comes from, it's gonna probably require a small amendment.
Will we get a
They probably-
report then or something, or is it?
I don't think this is complete. I mean, it's not completed as far as I know. It's just the
Just the initial bill.
initial invoice,
Okay.
little travel expense, some of the hourly stuff. Was it like 62.77?
6,068.
What's gonna be the easiest when we do budget amendments, I guess,
Say again.
when we do a budget amendment, where's gonna be the easiest, I mean,
Well, that's just it. I feel like they should both be paid out of the same place. We don't budget as much for legal things. So we don't have as many union contracts this week. You know what I mean? That's what we would budget for, would be that kind of stuff. So we still have those line items available.
General services.
Yeah, out of general services.
I agree with that.
But paying them out of the same line item makes
Exactly.
sense as far
Sure.
as being able to account to them.
Does Pam know that we're still expecting a report?
I don't think she's done. That's what Jean was at. I don't think it's over. I mean, I don't think it's done. That's only through the end of August.
Okay.
Is that bill?
You can expect another.
I've
bill
not
for
heard
September.
I haven't heard anything about it, so
I haven't either.
I don't know that answer.
I'd say pull them both out of general services.
General services.
I agree.
Yeah, thank you very much.
You're down to 20 minutes.
$20 got you $120.
Nope,
I guess only cost us 73.
depends on who's 20 minutes. in it.
Exactly. Exactly.
Lead, secondary, depends.
Yeah.
Okay, is that everything you got for us?
I think so. Thanks for the camera.
and Colin might be getting worried about the commercial.
Oh, yeah,
Just to
whether
double
to
check
get it
that.
on the agenda or not.
Yep.
Gotcha. Yep, nope, that's good. I appreciate that. Yeah, we might as well be clear on that,
So
so.
getting all cleared up. So. I'd make a motion to adjourn then.
Second.
Motion and a second, all in favor, say aye.
All right.
Chair votes aye. 11:43.